without any further ado, we're going to pass it off to them. See you guys later.
What is up, beautiful people? There we go.
You were sending that up.
A little bit, right? I was trying to do the chat. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining Adara and I on How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. Yeah, that's our girl, Adara, and I'm Sharif. And I'm long right now, goggles, thanks to the OB, the one, the Canoe for pointing that level out to me super quick there. So we'll just focus on that trade in a second. The whole point of this goggles trade here, it's a strong name, up 3/4, yada, yada, yada. It comes into the 50, and I see a couple of hold-up candles at there. That's what precipitated me to get into that trade. So we'll see how long this one lasts for. I was also long the dead one, but I got shaken out of this Apple trade as we came into the 10 period on the 5 on that one, and then definitely held up. So both trades today based on moving average technicals. So we'll keep an eye on what these guys are doing. Nice retracement off the top though there. Sean mentioning that 18,772. That is an all-time intraday high for the NQ. So we'll keep eyes on that. Adair, good morning.
Good morning. How are you this fine morning? How was your weekend?
Very good, very busy, and left me a little bit tired, not gonna lie. But we're gonna try to do this job because that's what we're paid for, I think.
Yeah, I like the good morning. You're like really trying to stretch it out, which I appreciate.
A little bit.
Yeah, so that nice look on goggles. I didn't even have my eyes on that one. That's a nice one. I got out of Apple. I took like about 12 pennies on Apple. I see, it's so funny. Sharif's sitting there. I go and I look at this and I'm like, oh, Apple. And Sharif's like, yeah, I'm in that, right? So I was like, I don't want to get in yet. I'll get my beverage and I will get Sharif the water. And then I come back and it's still holding this. I said, Adara, try to scalp this. Initially I wanted 66s. When I realized you were struggling with 50s, I said, Adara, your biggest issue with paper handing last week, just like, don't do that. Just get out. So that's what I did in AAPL. I was risking into about 24s, 25s around this area. So like, please just punch. Took a little baby trade. My next one that I have my eye on is my old pal, Tesla. Look at this. Look at Tesla. Look at this resistance at 175.50s, and we're seeing a little bit of a range with slightly higher lows. I want to take this into the top of the range. If we see a bounce, I don't know why I'm talking in this sing-song voice, but I do like this look here on T to the S to the L to the A. Has me saying hip hip hooray right now. So yeah, how goes goggles?
It's decent. We're still hanging around VWAP. I've already put my out on this one. Already wet my beak on some profits there through the touch of the $0.50. So we'll get to that trade and come what may on this trade. But we do have a lesson du jour that we have to get to. And all week long, Adara, we're talking about the measured move. But I haven't loaded up the slides, so I'm going to send it to you for a second while I load up said slides.
Yeah, I'm still looking at Tesla, but I can also look at SOXL. I've started doing, it's not a sticky note, it's just my own personal like look at levels. And on SOXL, I have one I like, and it was gonna be 47, but now, and I say that because that was also, if I zoom out a little bit, that was a little bit of, there we go. So you have 47, a little bit of an area here earlier, but now it's not. But you know what is the main level now that we're looking at is lessons. L for learning, so we're going to be looking at some lessons. Thank you so much, Sharif, for putting that together. We're going to talk about the measured move.
Yes, we're talking about all week, and we're going to talk about more nuanced trade using the measured move strategy. But before we even do that, people are going to wondering, what the is the measured move? So let's get to that. Let's explain what this is so we can get some of the lessons based upon it on the road. So welcome, intraday traders. Today's lesson demystifies the concept of the measured move, a valuable tool for navigating the fast-paced world of short-term trading. Let's get right to it. So what is the measured move exactly? So imagine a stock makes a significant price move. A measured move helps estimate the potential price target, future price target, the potential future price target or support and resistance levels based upon that first initial move. It's like gauging how far the domino effect might ripple after that first push. And so this is basically a graphic showing the bullish and bearish measured moves on this particular slide. So you have the initial trend, the size of the first leg is measured, that you have that as your standard, and then you're able to kind of project that later on the drop down there in the trough for that next leg up. Very simplified kind of concept, but if you want to screenshot this, this kind of helps really narrow it all down, right? So we'll keep, keep that screen there if you want. Take a screenshot. whatever you want to do. And there is another graphic mastering the measured move, so to speak. You're able to gauge based upon wave 1, whether it's an up or down to what wave 3 or wave 5 we'll look at. We'll get more into that as the week goes on. But the basic idea here is measured moves assume that price movements tend to follow a certain percentage retracement of the previous move. Here's a simplified approach. So first, you identify a significant price move, whether that's up or down, on an intraday chart. Then you calculate the size of the move by subtracting the starting price from the ending price. Here's an example, right? I know it sounds super theoretical, but this is the example. So let's say a stock price jumps from $20 to $25 intraday, which is obviously a $5 increase. You apply a common retracement percentage using the fibs. If you don't know how to use fibs, go back and Google that lesson on Fibonacci retracements that Adair and I did on how to trade. So you're gonna apply a common fib retracement. This is where it gets a little nuanced. You could use 50%. Some other people could use the 30s or the 60s or the 20s or the 70s. There's a plethora of different fib retracements. So you're going to have to get acquainted with which one you want to use in particular, and you're going to have to standardize it because otherwise you're not going to have equal results or consistent results. So you apply a common retracement percentage. My purpose is I'm using 50, and then you multiply the price by that percentage. So here's continuing example. So we have a 50% retracement that we're using as our retracement percentage of $5, which is 2.5, obviously, right? Then we're going to add for uptrends. You're going to subtract for downtrend. So you're going to add the retracement value from the ending price to estimate the potential target, or you're going to subtract the retracement from the value of the ending price to estimate the potential target there. So depending on whether you're going long or short is going to be whether you're adding or subtracting that example, that number. So in our example, an upward trend here, you'd have a potential profit target of 25 bucks, which is based upon, you have a potential target of $27.50, which is based upon $25 as the ending price added to that $2.50 retracement. So that's 27.5 for the downtrend. It would be $22.50 that you would have a potential target. That's based again upon a $25 ending price and a $2.50 retracement. In the subsequent, in the latter as opposed to the former, we subtracted 2.5 rather than adding it because it was a short sale. So some important considerations for using this particular strategy is that measured moves or estimates, they're not guarantees. You should already know that if you're familiar with technical analysis. The market doesn't always follow a perfect retracement, nor does it always follow the retracement percentage that you've selected. Recall that in this case, we use 50%, but that's not the only one that's used for fibs. Get acquainted with that. Some other considerations that you need to keep in mind, consider using different retracement percentages. I kind of alluded to that. 38.2 and 61.8 are some other popular retracement percentages based on market conditions and your specific trading strategy. And also combine measured moves with other technical indicators like support or resistance levels or trend lines for stronger signals. So how do you leverage the measured move for trades intraday? So first of all, identify potential entry and exit points. What do I mean by that? So look for a price move followed by a pullback towards the calculated retracement level. You should already have that level identified using your fibs. This could be a buying opportunity in an uptrend or a selling opportunity in a downtrend. Again, this goes kind of both ways. You also got to set your stop losses. Place stop loss orders below the retracement level for the long positions to limit, obviously, if the price falls sharply, and above retracement levels for short positions and able to get out of dodge if the price does start pumping. And manage risk. I mean, obviously, if you don't have an account to trade, you're not going to be able to trade, nor will you be able to join Adair on how to trade. So measured moves provides estimates, so don't risk a significant portion of your capital based solely on this concept. Also, be prepared to take profits profits early in case the momentum doesn't carry as far as a measured move suggests it would. And here's a pro tip, guys. practice using measured moves on historical charts to get comfortable with the concept before applying it to live trades, right? We talked a lot about this, whether you want to use historical charts to see whether or not your technique works or whether you want to trade live in the sim to see, if you've got the composition to be able to do it. So that's the lesson today. Super simple. We're just identifying the measured move, and then we're going to basically get into more nuanced type of trades as the week goes on.
Yeah, and may I say, I love when you like casually bake PAMP into a sentence. Like, oh, and if we PAMP, then it's ready. So shout out to Sharif. Thank you for preparing that lesson and keeping us entertained. Tesla, if you want to PAMP it just a bit, I'd be pleased as punch. Now, I want to clarify, does this look bearish? Oh, heck yes. We have, especially because I thought we might have a breakout if we had a higher low, but we didn't really get that. We had two higher lows, then we had a slightly lower low here. And you might be thinking, Adara, this long seems like a bit of an eyebrow raiser. And you know what, like maybe it is. I'm trying to take about 15 pennies. I've watched the support we've had at 174.35 has been really nice. I want to take it into 174.50s, cut the cord, I'm done, I'm outie. Although that's kind of disrespectful because I'm in Tesla, so I guess I'm out of the Cybertruck running there. But yeah, I don't mind this. If we break below 20s, I am going to have to leave. But I think this could be a decent short-term trade. Shout out to Kyle Burdett as well for pointing out the very bear flaggish look of this, which I definitely agree with. We generally did have that nice little flag pull to the downside and then a little bit of chop and turn. This could break down to me in any second, so I'm aware this is a slightly risky trade, but I think sometimes, you do, to quote Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's true.
And so if I consider myself to be a scalper and I see an opportunity that's kind of scalpy that I like, that's within my purview, within my wheelhouse, part of my oeuvre, whatever words you want to use, I think that this could be something I'm comfortable with, right? So that's why I took that T to the S to the L to the A, pretty tight risk reward here, just trying to get into trades that I enjoy and trade in my style. Also, I did take a couple pennies out of SPCE, and I do literally mean a couple pennies. I was initially wanting into 48.20s. We were taking forever to break above 48s, and I was like, Adara, you're not comfortable in this trade anymore. Take your really small profit and leave. So I did, and I am aware, profit here, of course, not great. Taking smaller profit, but I'm really just trying to practice taking slightly larger shares if I'm going to scalp, so SPCE and Apple, and then just getting comfortable executing those trades accordingly. So that's the look. How is your look?
Not too bad. Set up a couple of trades right now. The first one is a dip trade on Apple. I'm trying to catch that 10-period moving average. I had a successful trade on it earlier, trying to get back into it. It's been hugging the 10 on the 5 without question. So keep your eye on that. That's kind of what I'm looking for there. This is the green line. The green line is a 10 exponential on the 5. This is always the 5. You'll be able to see the time frame on my charts by looking at the top left corner. I know it doesn't, it's not easy to see, but if you squint and zoom, you'll be able to do it. So the 10 period right here is where obviously all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles on the 5-minute chart have held up. So I've got a dip trade right in front of the $half there in order to catch this monster long. Obviously, I've got this one in the account, but we'll trade it both ways. The other one that I'm going for is a 20-period or a 50-period rejection on the ZON. It's been constantly making lower lows, but not, lower highs, but not really necessarily lower lows. And then look at this pre-market level over here that we had. This started around 8:40 and it continued right till the bell rang, actually 10 minutes before the bell rang, because then we're started getting a little wild in our move. But 184.80, for whatever reason, you can make the argument 184.75, 184.80, that was a pre-market support level. Lo and behold, it's acting as a not a pre-market. And after the bell support level today, break even on the day for the ZON is 184.70. So like 10 pennies away from that support level. So if we get popped back up into that 185.20, 185 and a quarter-ish, I'll be looking to get short on the ZON to take that bad boy and play that range. So AMZN, AAPL, 2 trades that I've got my eye on. I think I'll probably get filled on AAPL a little bit quicker here, as about 2 pennies or so away from my level. The other trade that I'm going to keep my eye on, goggles, absolutely is holding up here at the 50 period on the 5. Don't know why, don't really care. All I know is that there's a whole lot of consolidation happening around here. If this starting to put like a rounded bottom, as the NOS boss likes to call it, or as my friend Neil, who's absent today, likes to say, getting it on the back end, as it starts to curl back up and show you its propensity to rise back up. If it does that, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I am now long the dead one at the $half, so the dead one's gonna have to hold up at these levels, otherwise I'm outie.
Yeah, I mean, also, yeah, I like that Amazon as well. I think it's definitely like, I'm trying not to take trades that aren't, quote, my type of trade, you know what I mean? And I think one thing is you want to go outside your comfort zone, but I've noticed if I try to like, you know, go too far out of mine, that's when I make trades that are real, like, huh? Eyebrow raisers. So trying to be pretty careful with that. But that's saying Amazon, if you take the lower highs, I like that look for myself. Shout out to Sharif. He did a little fist pump, so I'm sure he is fist pamping there. Shout out to you. Also, I'm proud of myself. Like I said, I've been doing a lot more book reading lately, and that's what saved me from Tesla. So I got involved. I said, I want my 15 pennies, and we started to calm down a little bit. Then I see, initially, like I said, I wanted out at 20s, right? That was going to be my loss because I got out at 174.35. So then I noticed on the book, I was like, hey, Adara, we're getting kind of dicey here. Get out at 25s. The second I get out, this thing drops 10 cents. I was like, you know what I mean? I was like doing like the whole like, you know, sweaty out of breath thing. So I think sometimes you just have to trust your instincts. Obviously, I could have gotten out of a winning trade, but I just wasn't comfortable in the trade anymore based on my parameters and what I was seeing. So I said, bye-bye. You know, sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to trust yourself. And that's something I am notoriously not great at doing. So I am trying to get a little bit better at that because that's the whole, you know, here at How to Trade, we're just trying to get better one step at a time. IBIT, I might be a bit interested in some IBITs over here. I haven't said that one in a while. Look at this range. Like, hello, 38.07. Hello, 38.22, 32. This is a very specific range. But look at this, like, look at these little wicks. They show us we get to this level and then IBIT gets a bit exhausted. And I'm like, hey, if you're gonna get exhausted, IBIT, I might take you to the downside just a bit into that 38.07. This is exactly a 25 penny range. We might be trying to break up a little bit here. And I would also have to think about where I want to risk, because I'm not 100% confident in that right now. But nice look. Q's breaking down. Yeah, lots of stuff to keep an eye on. How are you?
Good, good. Took some profits there on Apple. The remaining amount, though, coming now below my entry, below the $0.50. But I already have my stop. So, you know, come what may, we're going to let this trade unfold as it may. The other one I'm keeping my eye on is goggles, because this trade looking like it may no longer be valid. I was looking for the 50 period to hold, the 50 period to hold up on the 5. But now we're getting the first real decidedly lower candle below the 50. The 50 now starting to slope down a little bit on goggles. So no longer interested in this 50 period retracement trade. And that's kind of what happens there. So we'll keep eyes out on that. I'm still very interested in this Amazon 20 period retracement, but alas, the 20 period is a dynamic level. What does that mean? That means it's not stationary. So if it was at 185.18 before, it's now moved down into 185.15. So if I'm trying to play a resistance level off an exponential moving average, I have to be dynamic with my entries, and my entries have to keep adjusting to where said level is. So I just did get stopped out of the remaining balance there on AAPL. So I'll take a little bit of an L, but still positive on the name on Apple there. But this is what I was talking about here. This is the level. It's now 185.13, 14, something like that. I have my levels out on 18 on Amazon, so I'm going to have to change that level right there. Why am I playing this 20 period level on Amazon? Well, it's featured all day, right? So if it's featured, then I'm definitely interested in trading it. So let's go ahead and sit at the, well, we'll sit at 14s. We'll sit at 13s, and whoever tells, I went long 13s, Adara. Why did I do that? I always do that, always fat fingered. That's how I can tell I'm tired, because I went long when I want to go short.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go ahead and fix that, and we'll sit at 13s. So we'll sit there waiting for that level to come in. Day trader cut. Lines are ripping to cruise lines. Yeah, so Adara had eyes on those earlier. NCLH leading the pack there, up 8 1/5. RCLH up 5 3/4. CCL at 6 3/4. LIND is one of these names as well, as it's also up 1.87. So keep your eyes on those if you're interested.
Yeah, definitely keep your eyes on those. Keep your eyes surprised to keep your eyes on the prize. Yeah, NCLH, that one, they have their investor day. I'm going to take a look at them, see if there's anything I can cruise into in this name.
I like that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is a nice flat top break that we got a little bit earlier. Not with a viciousness, mind you, but just a little to the upside. I'm just continuing on its little journey. This 1685 flat top break was nice. Then we come back, bounce slightly higher off that 1690 and continue to the upside. I don't have anything I would play on this, but it's a nice look. CCL, how are you doing? CCL's a nice one there. Like this is a sympathy play, so it's not, you're not playing the main name here, but if you bounce at 1590s, that could be interesting. Not one I would necessarily have levels on, because like I said, I'm really trying to focus more on trading in a way that I'm comfortable with, and that doesn't mean I won't take things, but it just means I'm going to come into it with a modicum of skepticism and probably tighter risk management if it's not one of my normal little rangy plays. Apple is interesting. I don't have a read on this right now. I think there's something of a range here happening, 191.40 to 191.50. So that was what I was kind of trying to play earlier. But shout out to Sharif for taking bites out of this guy earlier, taking some chunks out of Apple. But yeah, we're kind of continuing to bounce here a little bit. I don't know. I think this could go either way, so I don't want to get involved yet. Nvidia continuing to fall here. I always have eyes on Nvidia. Right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Red candles to the downside. Nvidia's like, yeah, but I'm still up like 2%. So, okay, Dara, keep yapping. Yeah, so Nvidia is still up 2%, but we are seeing a little bit of weakness here. And you know what's interesting?
What?
That 948.50 area. 948, I know Sean called this out earlier. I like 948.50 just based on my looks last week at areas where we were really stalling on the book. And look where we have our pseudo double top. Not perfect, mind you, because we did go higher. That's right, 948.50. The second Nvidia tries to knock at the door at 948.50 again, I'm doing something. I don't know what I'm doing.
I like it.
But I'm doing something. And you're doing something on the Zon.
Yeah. Well, it's not filling, but it's okay. We got other trades we can talk about here. Small cap gappers, baby. We haven't mentioned any of these. AMC is having itself a decent day. I mean, like, look, it's up 3%, so it's not great, but it did get above the VWAP. So I'll keep eyes on it. If this gets parabolic, I'll leave AMC up and GME both on the left side here, just in case anything happens to them. But I got to tell you the truth, they don't look like they're moving. But some RB 200% or thereabouts to the high side, $57 million market cap for this minuscule company. It's done 89 million shares of volume, which is good because it's a dollar name, so that's kind of like the minimum. 7 million share float, and we just got one hell of a holdup that I didn't have eyes on. VWAP 160, beautiful confluence with that pre-market high. You guys know how much I love these pre-market highs as key levels for these small cap gappers. That's where we got at 6:05 a.m. And lo and behold, it also happened to be the VWAP. So we dip right into that 160 level, and then boom goes the dynamite, 1 3/4 coming in, 205 HOD on this monster. It's above VWAP. It's above the pre-market high. It's got all the check marks beside its name. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm going to marry this stock. I'm kidding. This is the move there after hours on Friday. I guess this really precipitated the continuation today because we had decent amount of volume there in the pre. We were doing almost 250,000 shares per candle at some points here in the pre. So not a bad look. Well, starting from 6 a.m. onwards, we were doing well over 500,000, wow, on this 605 candle. So there's plenty of liquidity on this name, both pre-market and during regular market hours. So let's keep an eye on that. The other small cap gappers, just want to look quickly on some of these large cap. NKGN, this one's got a lot of the good check marks beside its name as well. Pre-market high, broken. Definable pre-market top, broken. Trading above VWAP, barely. Look at this, VWAP, $1.67. It just jumped up now, nice move into $1.75. It's barely holding the volume weighted average price though. The details on this one, NKGN, here's the deets. So the market cap, $39 million, just a little bit less, 25.5 million shares done. 25.5 million shares done on the day, and the float 9.33 million. So not minuscule, but definitely a little bit smaller there. CMCM though, this is at day's highs, and it's having a whole bunch of trouble with 6. I can tell you though, without even looking at the book, that there's a monster seller at 598, owing to these kind of topping candles right there that all hold up at 598. In addition, the HOD on the day is 598. So if this one blows through 598, I think it get really parabolic though. I don't know if it's done enough volume. That's the thing with this one. It's $6 name. It's done about 361,000 shares. That's just not enough. I need more. $178 million market cap. A 9 million share float, so smaller, but not, again, minuscule. CM, keep your eye on that 598 level. Something's afoot with that. Last but not least, BCAN. This one looks awfully good as well in terms of a chart pattern. 4.75 million shares done on the day, $11 million market cap. Float is 6.5 million, and it's doing everything right here. Definable pre-market high above that, above VWAP, $1.50 resistance. Look for maybe something off a key technical like $1.33 at VWAP to head north with this one. BCAN on my list here, Dara, as one of the small cap gappers.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many small cap gappers today. You've got your short floated small cap gappers. You have your meme small cap gappers. You have your run-of-the-mill pharmaceutical small cap gappers. If you want a small capper, I'm sure there will be ones who wave at you and be like, hi, I'm here. Also, Tesla being like, yeah, Adara, get out of here. So I am going to be getting out of here. We broke above 60s decisively. I said bye. I did add to the position. I'm not going to apologize for that because, not like anyone asked me to, but I just won't. Because, you know, I said, Adara, you got to be, if you like an area, you got to get involved. Now I realize in retrospect, I did get short on 2 pretty bullish candles, but we did that rejection of 60s. Now it looks like I should have set my stop more into 70s because you are rejecting a little bit, but I'm not getting back in. TSLA, my weakest name of the day, the only name I'm down on right now, so I'm pretty proud of that. But Nvidia casually snuck up here. I saw this bounce. I was going to try to get it. I did try to get it in 943.50s, and Nvidia was like, now I'm up into 944s. I was like, okay, Nvidia, do your thing, 21. And next time I look at Nvidia, we're into 946s. So yeah, I didn't want to chase it. That's just not really how I'm trying to trade, especially Nvidia. However, this 946 area. I know it's above VWAP. I was more interested kind of in a VWAP projection, but look at this 946. Little bit of a support area earlier, bit of support, slightly above the 90 EMA. So usually I don't love taking shorts above the 90 EMA. It's just kind of a personal preference and less of an actual level. But this is 945.80. If we keep projecting, I might be interested. Like I said, though, my big white whale, my beluga, my you know, Ahab at the boat in Moby Dick kind of trade, the level I'm looking at is going to be that 948.50. That's going to be the level I really want. So I don't want to force myself into anything before that unless I see something I really like. Tesla's just being very bamboozling. Apple, that might be the true range of the Meg 7. Choop, 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 choop. In between this, I don't know what that sound was, but we're dancing around that 190, 160, 190, 140. However, it's kind of a flat bottom now in lower highs. I think this is going to be a short from here on out, for my purposes anyway. We did have that kind of bullish candle, but we didn't get that much out of it. Not really moving in the same direction as its godfather, the future, or its grandfather, or whatever relative you want to say it is. So yeah.
I got missed by 1 penny on Amazon, so I had my short 185.13. It got up to 13s but didn't cross. Came into 12, so I didn't get short, and it did break down below 185. So that's okay. I'm going to leave that level. But Apple's 20 period is coming into play quite soon. It looks like it's going to be that 191.25. I could definitely be interested in that if it holds up at that level. There was a fantastic 50 period hold up here on Nvidia on the 5 minutes. So you had 3 bottoming tail candles all into the 50 period. I saw this on NVDL, but I really wasn't sure about the 50 period and how it would feature today. It was the first retracement into the 50. So I didn't want to jump into it too quickly, but great look here, starting to curl back up. And Apple just made its way down now into the 20 period. So now we got to keep eyes on Apple because this could be an interesting trade. But you don't need to jump into it too quickly. You have upside room. You have that 190, 150 as a target. You also have that 192 as an almost high day price. So there's no reason to jump in super quick into the 20 period. Let it prove itself around that level that it's going to hold up. If it doesn't hold up at that level, keep your eye on 191 or VWAP, which is 190.89. We'll see exactly what we get here on AAPL as it comes into that 20 period retracement. The 20 period has done well for me lately on the 5, especially for stocks that are continuing to trend. Not the ones that are consolidated, but the ones that have had good trends on the day when they've retraced. The deeper retracements I've noticed have gone into the 20 period and held up. So I want to feature with it as much as I can so long as it continues to kind of do its thing. So we'll watch Apple at this level, and it is getting a nice bounce here. So we'll put an order for a quick dip trade if it does come back down into my area, so we can get a better price than just chasing it. So the order's out there for the dead one, and I did get printed. 191 is my out of there.
Yeah, so that Nvidia short, that I really should have taken that short. I wasn't 100% sure. Right as I was about to push into the short, then we were like, oh, we're going to bounce. We're going to get into 946.50s. Then we rejected. I was like, Nvidia, can you just make up your mind asking for a friend? Like, it's a Monday. How are you already like this jumpy, this excitable? And it's like, well, my earnings are coming up in there. I'm like, yeah, I know, Nvidia. But I'm going to stop talking to this stock and continue to look for my levels. Should have taken this short. Should have trusted my instincts. Yada, yada, yada. You just got to keep going. I'm just really happy I didn't get into the long, because that was a consideration I had a little bit. Just Adair, if the short didn't work, try to go long. And it's like, very happy I didn't do that. But if we keep bouncing here at 943s, if we start to see a range forming, I think a certain someone who sits here, who is me, might be interested in that, to put it lightly. So let's take a look here. Apple as well. I like that VWAP bounce potentially, but we're still below the 90 MA. I don't really have a read on this. INTC. This is my side chart, and I kind of didn't look at it. Shout out to, I believe, Joanna Brewster in the chat saying topping tail candle on INTC, and I'm guessing that was going to be this one from earlier. Sorry, it was a little while ago. Here's my thing on INTC. I think we could be, and I apologize, I got to this kind of late. We are kind of seeing a very fascinating consolidation here in the 90 MA. Now, this looks like it could go a couple different ways. One way that it could go, that I think the topping tail candle certainly hints to, is it could be a little bit of a roundy, frowny face, which would send us to the downside, right? However, we're bouncing beautifully off the 90 MA on the 5. Look at this little tail here that we're wicking down. I would say wait for this one. You do not want to definitely rush in. You want to try to get it on the back end. Now, I'm aware, I apologize, I was a little bit late to the read on this, but I just saw this in the side chart and was like, I should address this because it was brought up earlier. But I think I would watch volume as well. Are we getting more volume on these bullish candles or these bearish candles? I would say that topping tail candle identified by, I believe, Joanna Brewster, absolutely the bearish volume here outweighed and outnumbered any of the subsequent volume candles. So this could be a move to the downside. But I see someone chomping on an apple, Tim Cookin to the upside.
We're nicely in the money right now, Dara. Nothing really to write home about, but a decent move here. Off the 20 again, the 20 featuring on my, and there it is, baby. We get printed there at 35s. Happy with this trade. We'll look to reinvigorate these longs here on some of these names, but I want to go back to Amazon. Amazon right back into my level, this time breaking the 20, making its way to the 50. However, the future is pamping. So if the future, well, right, I don't know.
That sound.
It's me deliberating with myself.
It's like humming and hawing. Yeah.
It is humming and hawing. It is the definition. It is the actual manifestation. Embodiment of humming and hawing. Shout out to Adara. Yeah, I'm looking short on the Zon here. I'm going short. Oh, maybe that was a sign there, Adara, that I shouldn't be getting.
Call
short.
me crazy. I know you were about to bust out the call me crazy, and then Amazon interrupted you.
It did, and then it switched to goggles on its own. So yeah, we're short now. The Zon, come what may, baby. Where are we short? We're short 13s. Lucky number 13. Anybody who tells me different, my mama born on the 13th, baby. So yeah, we'll look for a nice move down there on the Zon. Let's see, I already put my beak wetter at 5s. If we can get printed there. So I'm looking short on Amazon at this level. I'm also, whoa, wow, Microsoft is making moves here to the high side. So let's have a look at the soft one here. 425 incoming. We do have some resistance, it looks like, here at 425, not immediately letting you through there. So Microsoft getting a nice double bottom off that 423 3/4, but coming into a not pre-market, but a consolidation area here after the bell. We kind of had a whole lot of chopping and churning here from around 10:05 to when we broke down at 10:50, just right at this 425 area. So the future is headed up, but we shall see exactly what we get there. So short Amazon, looking to print.
Yeah, and I do hope you print there. Hopefully everything goes your Jeff Bezos, everything goes your way. That worked better in my head and it did not execute it well. Goes your way, Zos. That's what I should have said. There we go. Apple. I like the short. I like how the future's pumping up and we're both looking at these Mag 7 shorts, but I think that Amazon short's a great look. And I mean Apple. I know we had that VWAP bounce, but I've been watching these levels like a hawk. Like this has really been my play recently that I think has been the most successful that I'm trying to continue to work on is excessive book reading for these Mag 7 names, mostly Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, which is funny because Apple wasn't even really a name I traded before going live, oddly enough, or very much. But yeah, so basically Apple, base earlier, 191.40, right? And then resistance about around 191.60. So it's like, Adara, can't you just flip that, reverse it, and play it the opposite way? So I want to. We're going to play the top of this 191.39. That's where I'm trying to get in. Medium-sized position, I'm good with that. I want to add at 191.50s. And then if we break above 191.60s, bye, Apple, bye-bye, bye-bye. That's what I want. You know, hopefully we can get the Steve Jobs done there. That's what we want to get the job done. But let's see how this goes. TQQ is falling a little bit here, so I don't know if I'm going to get my prints on Apple. I would play this as a range, but the reason I really kind of don't want to is because I don't know, these wicks here, these bounce off VWAP, a little bit too strong for my blood, a little bit too rich for my blood, too strong for my taste, whatever you want to say. We're getting my Nvidia 943.50 as well. So if we get that before we get filled on Apple, I'm pivoting to this. Because this Nvidia, this has been the cup of soup. This has been the tea. This has been what I really want here. So yeah, hopefully that's going to be the look. How goes Amazon?
It's okay. We're 3 pennies in the money, but just packing my patience here. The one that I've really got my my eye on right now is Microsoft because it is definitely having trouble at 425. I'm just unsure how to play this exactly, whether to take a 425 short on the soft one. So packing my patience. We'll see if we get. We'll see if we get an entry here. There, nice. We just got filled on the Zon there. Good out there on Amazon as we moved down into 10. So wet my beak there. I'm still looking for a 50-period retracement, 50-period rejection. So if we get that, that'll be good. Otherwise, right now we're getting these wicking candles into it, and the future's coming into high. So I'm really unsure of what to make about this. I feel like I missed the better entry initially when Amazon came into the 50-period. Yeah, that's a look. Okay, so I'll pack my patience with this one. The other one that's back into the 50-period is Nvidia. So last time it made its way into the 50-period here at 942, it made another move back into 946 and 2/3. Here comes the 50-period again on NVDA with lower highs, though. Not necessarily lower lows, but we'll probably get a 942 and 2/3 touch if we continue to head down on Nvidia. So possibly play this on NVDL. We've got it right here. Yeah, so this is, well, it's still above the 50-period. I'd say the 50-period on my 5 is around 942 and 2/3, just above that $0.50 level there on NVDA. If you want to play NVDL, it looks like to be around $42.70 or thereabouts there.
Yeah, so speaking of NVIDIA, I don't know what I'm saying there. I'm involved in NVDA right now. Took that 943.50 bounce. I'm going to risk it like that. You said 242 and 2/3. I'm going to see 242.50s. Nice. Kind of see what we do. They're going to risk about $1. I want minimum 945. We know what I'm like, though. If there's an opportunity to scalp out earlier, I will. That's just kind of how I go. That's how I be. That's what life is over here. But I think I might have rushed into this. I'm going to be really honest. I probably should have waited for us to drop a little bit lower first before getting involved. But I did see we were holding very beautifully. I was like, Adara, you don't want to miss the opportunity either. So it's like, you know, I think I might have gotten a bit too in my head. I've said, and not always said this, I said that was a weird statement. I've said since going live, one of my biggest issues has been the mental part. It is such a different mental game. And I remember everyone was telling me this in the chat too. They're like, oh, it's different when you go live. The mental's different. I was like, oh, but if you approach it the same way, no, I was wrong. I take an L on that. It's so different. So I want to shout at everyone for saying that because there's certainly more than a modicum of truth there. It's just that it's very accurate. That's the facts. So yeah, Nvidia, if you keep bouncing, I'm pleased as punch. I don't like this little lilt to the downside of the 9 EMA. But this Microsoft short called out by my pal Sharif. Am I right? I like this as well. Pam. That is definitely what I have an eye on. So yeah, Nvidia, keep holding up, keep going, keep keeping on, keeping on. Let's take a look at hymns as well, because I know some people were singing some hymns about hymns. Weird hymn pun there. But yeah, nice. Okay, this is nice. This like little 90 MA bounce is nice. If we bounce off the 19s, that could be a nice area for me personally, but it's not going to be my type of trade. Nvidia fell though, so I'm going to have to extricate myself from my pal Nvidia,
over?
if you don't mind.
No
Thank
problem,
you.
of course. Yeah, Nvidia right at that 50 period, 942 and a third, 942 and a half-ish. Keep your eye on this level. Nvidia is a monster, right? So it's going to come in to those levels and then give it the old heave-ho and then pop right back up again. I mean, that's just what Nvidia does. So I'm staring at that 50 period on my side chart. I want to see if we get a nice bounce. I think the level here on NVDL is sufficient for me to get in. It's right at that 4270, the area that I was talking about, that I've been yapping up a storm about. If we do break down below this level, it won't be that much of a hit on NVDL. So I'm going to give it to the low 60s. Come crazy. But I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, go 42, and we'll give it to 55s or thereabouts for the out there. So I'm long NVDL for the purpose of being that at 50 period hold on NVDA, come what may, baby. If it doesn't trigger, it doesn't trigger. I ain't gonna lose sleep over this. So out's already in, stop is already in, and then we're gonna let this one go and keep an eye on it. I printed nicely on that Amazon short, where'd it go? On this bad boy, it's right back up again, but I was able to scalp as it did dip into that 185 general area there on AMZN, the Amazonian. It's been, I don't want to say well, it has been consolidative, but you know, the only time it's touched this level over here, the white horizontal line, which is Friday's closing print, was this double bottom over here at 11:15 and then at 11:20, and then it started curling right back up. So I want to say to you, the better level is not Friday's close at 184.70. It really seemed to be that 184.80, and I don't know why, and I don't care. But all I know is that it was doing that in the pre as well, and it continued to do that same look after the bell. It's been fighting with the 50. You've had wicks that have broken the 50. It hasn't even been able to make it to VWAP since tanking off that level at 10.05. So I'm all eyes, baby, on that level. I did get stopped out of NVDL as that monster headed back down. So we take, what did I lose there? I lost 11 pennies on this name, so we'll have to keep eyes on that because NVDA now is headed down, baby. 940 incoming, so that $10 level is coming in fast and furious on this name. Let's look at what it did in the pre. Had a bit of a consolidation level. This 940 area could be support, guys. We popped up there at 5:50 a.m., and then that's where we kind of held up. So not like I'm putting too much stock into a candle that had 450 shares in the pre-market, but yeah, it's 450 Nvidia shares. And it does seem to be finding support off 940. For how long? That's a different question. Let's keep eyes on that, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about something because I need to talk about it. Microsoft. So I get involved in that short, and then the second I get involved, I'm like, oh, Adara, you don't want this. This is a bad idea. You don't want this smoke. I don't even know why. I just started panicking like a fiend. I was like, I don't know what was going on. So I got out. I got out flat, like literally, basically exactly where I got in, right? And then I get out and the thing drops. It does what I want it to. So I think sometimes it's like you have to trust your gut a bit because clearly in this case, I liked my entry and then I don't even know why I panic sold. I can't even explain this. This was like I think maybe part of this 90 MA bounce, but it's like I would have gotten out before then anyway. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I yap about here. It just matters that I need to reflect and be like, Adara, why would you get out of a perfectly fine position that you liked because you randomly had a weird last minute change of heart? Like, I can't even explain this. So that's a bit dicey. I am down on the day a bit, but I want to say I'm very proud of how I exited this Nvidia. So I wanted to get out at 50s, got out 58s. I can live with that. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to try the trades. You don't know, you never know if a trade's gonna work or not work, right? All you can do is look at your levels, look at things you like, and attempt it. You make attempts, and sometimes the attempts work out, and the market's like shaking your hand. You guys are giving each other props, like that props button that Sean has, or it doesn't work out, and the market laughs in your face. And it's like either way, you take both with trading. So I think my biggest thing too, and you know, Microsoft is kind of a prime example of that. You have to try things. And not try like what I did with Microsoft, like get in and then and get out 2 seconds later. Try it and see it to its full fruition. Yes, so Microsoft, right now you and I are in good books, but you know, I think we're just gonna have to delete that USB drive, get a whole new one ready to go and make some new memories with that stock. Also, I like Nvidia 943.50 short.
I love it. Yes, I actually like that level as well. Hopefully,
I'm obsessed with that
I'll
level.
be able to print to the long side on NVDL before your level comes in. So
I think so too.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
crossed.
About 2 pennies out of the money. My stop is through the break of the $0.50 on NVDL. Apple's getting another little bit of a pump there, again, at near the 20 period. But the thing is now, the 10 period and the 20 period are becoming awfully close. And as the moving averages narrow together, that is basically your signal that the price range is really starting to tighten up there. So keep your eye out on that. I'm not, really inclined to want to jump into this Apple 20 period too quickly here. But yeah, we'll see exactly what happens. This NVDL show, I could get stopped out. This could be another 0 for 2 on this name. We're only 1 penny out of the money right now, but it doesn't really look like it's flying up here. But 940 generally still holding. So we'll see if we get that. Kevin Mendoza at Pampit. What's up, my man? Kyle Burdett, Sharif, Adara, Tesla 15 looking like the flat bottom bear gonna break. Let's have a look at what Big Kyle's talking about on Tesla on the 15. Here's the look. Great look, Kyle. Very bear flaggish. 174 seems to be really the level here, even though you have wicks in a 173.80-ish. The closing prints, as you can see, Kyle, all fighting to stay above that 174. Good look there, but flat bottom breaks on Tesla. I don't know. I don't know if I'm expecting a really big flat bottom break, but something could come in. I'd be looking for possible 173 hold up if that comes in. That's Friday's double bottom low there that we put in. What time we put that? That's the IB low there on Friday. So good luck for Big Kyle there with the analysis on Tesla on the 15-minute look. Very bear flaggish there. So we'll see that. NVDA still holding up at 940. Nothing to write home about there. Apple still holding up at the 20 period. Meta though, what is going on here? So Meta breaking out of that range finally. Well, not really. To be honest with you, there's been definite resistance here at 472.5. We're on our way to break 472, but look at all these topping tail candles that come into 472.5. Alas, there is a higher low to keep your eye on, so you could be, accumulating for a break, but I don't know. Meta has been awfully range bound on the day. 472.5 is an interesting level here to look at. To go green, you're gonna have to break above this white horizontal line right there. That is 471.88. There as the Friday closing print. It's been fighting with that level all day. Like as you can see, the closing print took us below that, but the wick took us well above that level, about 70 pennies above that level the last occasion, 472.5. Here we get a nice pop through 472 and it's pushed right back down. So there's going to be a lot of intersection and interaction with that white horizontal line on a consolidative day, because that is Friday's closing print on META. What else? All right, let's look at some other stuff. Some small cap gappers. MMV breaking down now. Shout out to Brad Gober. He reminded me about HIMS. Brendo told me about this one earlier. This is kind of like Blue Chew a little bit. They have these drug services. You see one of their, I don't know, I think they're nurses, they're not doctors. They give you a prescription online, you get your GLP-1 or whatever they're offering now, you get your Viagra, your Levitra, basically so you don't have to see the doctor, and that whole look. And GLP-1s, same thing. This has been holding the 10 period like a glove, Ram. Look at this, Ram.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. There has been a love affair between HIMS and the 10 period here on the 5 because they've been inseparable. So any trade here for the long, I would suggest to you, look for something off the 10 period. And I've shown you guys this before. I'll show it to you again. If you have this option on your system, I have it on my personal one where you can move and drag your buy and sell orders. The reason this is cool, because if you want to get in on the 10 period, well, the 10 period is always moving. The 20 period is always moving. And so as it moves with the candles, you'll be able to move up your order. And I think that this is super helpful to be able to trade these moving averages, which are awfully dynamic on the day. So we'll keep eyes on that. How did I do with my NVDL trade? Doing nothing, doing bupkis, 1 penny out of the money right now as we hold up above 940 here again.
I really thought you were going to say it's been a love affair between HIMS and hers. That's where I really thought they were going.
Is that why you got, you were setting me up for that? I like that. Yeah, I got to be better with it. I'm not that good at it. I'm just not good.
You are good with the putt. You always and there's
I make up names. That's what I'm good at,
Adara.
Adara.
Yeah, you've got Adara Panera, the Katina Man, the Neil. You have lots for Obi. You have a whole plethora of
Oh, yeah.
so
Obi
many names for
deserves
Obi.
so many, right?
He gets all, well, he's the Obi one. So.
He's Mr. Oh Boy.
Oh boy.
He has no idea. He's got his headphones right now.
Yeah, so shout out
Obi.
you guys, Obi and Sean on the afternoon show at
We're shouting
2
you out,
p.m.
homie.
Yeah, we're just shouting you out. But yeah, so Apple, I am proud of this short. And it's funny, right as I get filled in the Apple short, the second I get filled, I hear Sharif to my right say, oh, Apple's pumping a little bit. And I was like,
Damp.
but it's like, I still like the level, right? So I'm
yeah.
going to let Apple damp a little bit. Now, my plan for this, I was planning, this is a planned edition, and I'm actually okay with adding into this up into 191.50s. If we break above 191.50s, cut the cord, bye. Not going to be in sync with this one anymore. However, I have a plan. I have enough shares that I can kind of deposit them. I can sprinkle them as I walk down the aisle. You know what I mean? Like, oh, a couple flower petals here, a couple flower petals there, couple shares getting out at 191.20s, couple around 191. You know what I mean? So I really do like the idea of this trade. I don't love how strong of a base we have around view up, but I said, Adara, if you keep projecting, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. You got to like what you like, and you got to respect those levels. So that is the look there. I hope you print on your NVDA, to use a phrase you use a lot. I am trying to patiently wait here because I like this consolidation, but I'm like, Adara, you got to wait for your 943.50, which I don't know if you're going to get. So just going to be patient for there, but hopefully Sharif will scoop up all of that NVIDIA move there, because that would be a nice look. Also, INTC. We did, I said for this one, I wasn't sure where we were going to go. Looks like Intel was like, I know, I'm going to go to the downside. So shout out to Intel on that. Nice little look there. Very chop and churn, bit of rangy on the Qs. And I'm going to have to find a way to play this. Slightly lower highs, mind you, but look at this base we've got around the TQs, around the 63.95. I struggle trading the futures. I have no problem with trying to trade them, but I find I often fail to trade them successfully, if that makes sense. But it's like, you can't be scared. You know what I mean? To quote Cyndi Lauper, don't be discouraged. Let your true colors shine through. So yeah, I sang that song wrong, but that's what I really want to do here. And hopefully the true colors of this are going to be a little green triangle at the bottom and a red triangle at the top. Yep. How Kyle Burdett just tagged me saying big Kyle Burdett. So yeah, shout out to big Kyle Burdett. Also want to quickly look at Robinhood as well, because some people, Manuel Palma, I think, and some other people asking about Hood. This is okay. This is gorgeous. Look at this breakout. We had a little bit of a range. Robinhood breaks above 2020s. Definitely having a better time than that actual year was in real life, 2020, because if you remember, that was not the year of our lives. Now we're trying to break up into this 21s. This could be a nice look. You know, you've got clear support here hanging out around that 16s, a little bit of top in here. We keep kind of brushing up against, trying to flirt with that 19 level. Now we're breaking into 21s, kind of a roundy bottom, as Michael Noss would say. I think this is a nice look. And you know, Apple, if you want to keep kind of fluttering to the downside, you'd be a nice look as well.
I like it. All right, we're doing absolutely nothing on this NVDL trade. We're a couple of pennies in the money. I guess what I can take from this is that 940 level is holding. Generally, and that was a pre-market level that we earmarked. So if we print on this, great. If we get stopped out, not great. I'm short Meta at this level here, 472.5. I'm going to give this to 60s. Oh, looks like I'm going to get stopped out. Meta's going here, guys. So if we pump up one more print above 66, that's going to have to flatten here, because I didn't even get a chance to put in my out. So quick was this move up on META. Where am I short? I'm short at 44s. We're printing 60s. Nice move down here. So now I can put in my outs. I'm just going to put it at 69, and then I'll give it a bit of a spread here into 79 in case it really gets parabolic. So we put in our stop here on META, where if we do well on it, be great. But I think Meta's the winds of change may be coming here on META. So it looks like I probably will get stopped out of this as we knock on the door of said 69s, unless Meta wants to come back down very aggressively, in which case I'll be very happy. Wow, NVDA doing nothing. I'm going to get stopped out of Meta here. Let's see. Well, let's just let this play out. So short Meta, long Nvidia on this level. But I am unsure about this Meta short. The reason I went short Meta was, it's obvious. I mean, there was a an obvious level here, but whether it holds up at those levels or not is an entirely different story. So short 44s, now we're coming down into the 44s, so that's great. I'll be looking to cover maybe at the $0.25. Let's put it at 26s. What's life without whimsy? Let's see, we're printing 30s now, so not too far, but you know, it's spread out. There we go, nice baby. So I did get that short right. I'm not an idiot. Well, I am an idiot, but not as much of an idiot as I maybe thought, Adara. So tried that range, successful on it. Let's see if we can continue to pamp down and take a little bit more. I mean, the closing print, Adara, is 471 mid-80s. So if I can get at least a retracement south of 472, I think that that would be decent. Or the other school of thought would be thinking, well, look, you've reclaimed that closing print from Friday. Now you're going to use it as support because it's the first candle you actually have that closes above it. All right, that's a decent school of thought, but that's still predicated upon, you know, this level being a range. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see exactly what we'll get here on META, about 10 pennies in the money now, but coming right back up to the top. But I was able to cover a great deal on it there. Now it looks like it is headed higher. So this looks like a hammer candle coming in here, Adair.
That was a great out, though. Places punch for you. And I also like that you dipped in the spread right before that drop happened, which I thought was pretty funny. But also, yeah, you know, if it doesn't work out, you know, meta and forgetta. But you do have your profit taker on that. So very happy for you.
Thank
Apple,
you.
if you just want to, like, make up your mind, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I'd be pleased as punch. Literally, we call Apple the dead one for a reason.
Yeah.
And that reason is because it's the dead one. I was telling Sharif once, this is the day that Sharif wasn't in, I think it was Obi and I was saying, I was in an Apple trade for half an hour, and in that half an hour, it moved less than 5 cents.
I remember you told me
either
this.
direction. Literally, it wasn't
so
like it moving
frustrating.
against me. It just did a whole lot of nothing. But now Apple, I guess, heard my plea, and it was like, I don't want to be the dead one, Adara. So it's going to try to break to the downside, which, I mean, hey, Apple, do your thing 21, okay? Which, ironically, I don't want to get out at 21s, though. I want to get out at 18s. That's basically the base of this. Then I'm going to have another, so I'm getting out, math quickly, 40% of the position. I'm going to have another 60% of the position. The plan would be to get out another 20, and then the remaining... Yeah, no, sorry, I don't even math. We'll figure it out. We're gonna get it all out. My brain broke for a second there, but yeah, so I want this Apple to continue to the downside. I have no reason to leave. And like I said, I was gonna continue adding into 190, 150s, but it didn't really give me a reason to do that, so I'm cool with that. Not a huge position, something I'm comfortable with, a few more shares I normally take.
I want to remind everybody, guys, that we have a well, not remind you, to let you guys know that we have a brand new segment today. It's starting from 2 to 2:30. So typically what ends up happening is that the big kahunas are on. We go through the morning rundown. I sit at the big desk with Brendo. We start talking about the movers of the morning. We're going to put that on ice for a sec. We're going to have an entirely new segment, one that is dictated by you guys, the viewers. In the last hour of How to Trade, this show, we're going to put a poll. It's going to be conducted by Streamlabs, and you guys will have the choice as to what we talk about on that half-an-hour rundown. So we're going to give you all these different options for tickers. I know everyone's talking about HIMS. Last week definitely would have been AMC and GME. We're going to give you the option to vote for your 4 top favorite trades, charts, looks on the day, and that's what the big kahunas and I are going to talk about there on the rundown from 2 to 2:30. And this way, we'll be able to analyze the trades in the way that you guys like. We're going to be talking less about the catalyst for why it's running and more actually about the trade itself, what was the thinking, what we saw on the chart, etc. So Obi's trades are on the table, Sean's trades are on the table, Adara's, mine, everybody's. We're going to give you those options in the last hour of the show, so you'll be able to vote for it from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So get ready for that. That starts today. As I tell you about that, let me tell you about this. I got stopped at a Meta for the remaining amount that I had, still profitable on it, and I wet my beak there finally on NVDL for a nice 10 penny winner as it made its way into 42.70. Alas, it is now straddling the 50 period on the 5 as a level of resistance while it used it previously as support. Here's a look on the 5. So we keep wicking into this 50 now or this 942 and a half and third-ish, the areas that we're wicking off and bouncing off, now we're wicking to and rejecting off from. So looking at NVDL for this NVDA trade, gonna hold this one and let's see how it goes. I happen to really like your trade on Apple. And the reason, if I can say why, is because basically what we're getting here is incrementally lower highs with a possible flat bottom here at that 191 and a quarter, excuse me. So nice look for Adara there. I hope you print on this name, AAPL. We're not really sure why it's running. It was a bad headline today coming out of China that you know, they're cutting prices. That's never really a good look there. But I think a lot of this stuff for China is already baked in. Let's call a spade a spade. We've been talking about this China thing for a hot minute now. So AAPL, for whatever reason, being bought up, probably that $1.5 or $150 billion share buyback program that they have there, guys. So we'll keep a look at that. So here it is, guys. So then here's what you're going to do. I just got the messages from Brendo. It's going to work as follows. So for that 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock segment that you'll be able to vote for your favorite stocks, all you'll have to do is type in !join and then the ticker symbol. So for example, if you wanted to vote Tesla, it would be ! the word join together, no spaces between the ! and the word join, and then space, I believe, and the ticker you want to vote for, Tesla, whatever, okay? So that's how it's gonna work there for the 1 o'clock, so join. Okay, $ Tesla, thank you, Brendo, for that. Brendo's all, he's killing it, bro. So let me type it out for you guys so you see how it's done. Let's bring it in over here. Stop it, Kyle. I see you there in the chat, Kyle. So it's like this, Ram. Ram. She doesn't want to do it. She's such stubborn. Yeah, Tesla, so join like that, and then the $, which is the ticker, and then TSLA, just like that. That's all you got to do, and that's how you vote. Zoom in more, Ram. I think we can get in like 200% zoom there. Oh He's killing it. This girl's killing it. Join Tesla, baby. That's what we're doing today. That's how you vote for the stock that you want. That's the new format from every day now. From 1 to 2, you'll be able to vote, and then we cover the stocks that you like from 2 to 2:20. And then we have interviews now. Did you know that? We're going to start having interviews now. It's going to be a whole new segment. We're very excited about it here on Trader TV Live. Adara, I'm now almost 20 pennies in the money on this NVDL trade, as it definitely held 940. 940 a real level here on NVDA. Yeah,
nice look there. I'm still looking at, I'm like having an emotional affair with Nvidia here. I'm in my Apple trade, but I keep looking, I'm like, Nvidia, you're getting awfully close to 943.50, which is what I want.
Can you tell them it's at 1?
Pardon?
It's at 1.
Oh, I was going to say it's at 1. Yeah, I was just going to say that as well. But yeah, I got distracted by Nvidia, which has been the story of my life. Yeah, so 1 p.m., this is when it's going to start. Don't put your tickers in yet, guys.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Wait at 1 p.m.
Yes.
There's going to be a prompt apparently in the chat as well. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls for killing it with us with that and just with everything in general. Go Bears versus Bulls.
But I love how you guys are already chiming in. This is really what we want. We want user input. It's about what you guys want, and you know, democracy wins, right? Yeah.
And so, Trevor Freiler, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat, saying as well here in the chat, can you check out Mara and Riot? Yeah, for sure. And I meant to check out Mara, because sorry, I know we've gotten a lot of interest in Mara in the chat. It's a great look, honestly. Not a lot of patterns really to analyze here, because we're really just heading to the upside and increasing volume as well. Nice area around this 1960, a little bit of resistance, as well as this 1970, which is actually a level I really like, and also certainly an interesting year as well, I'm sure. We have that 1970 bit of resistance, then we get this nice little bounce on the 90 MA, shoop, to the upside.
I just told Patty doesn't want to talk about it. So we're not going to have Patty chime in and let us know exactly his levels. Okay. He's not going to talk about it, Adara.
My level is 1970. I think that's nice. Obviously, we're way above it now. But I'm going to be honest, it's kind of hard to give levels when we're just continuing to truck to the upside. Let's take a look at the daily chart to see if we can have any context for this marathon. So, Apple, if you want to do literally anything, just let me know. MARA, yeah, been a nice kind of steady uptrend. We did break out above that earlier support resistance flip-flop around that 2050 area. 21 can do something for Mara, we learned, so that's a nice look. I think that 23 could be interesting. We had that that pop into 23 late March. 20, what is this, like 23, 2256, 2260s. I think that could be a nice level. I do like that on Mara, but also look at Riot for you as well. See if we're having just as much of a Riot in Riot as we are in Mara. On the daily chart for Riot, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we're kind of at that level here, that 1060, because look at this. This was support earlier, coming back to early February, and then again in mid-March. So I think if we can break above that, that would be nice indeed, but I don't really have any levels if we break above that. Maybe this 1137, but as Sharif, in the, you know, in the words of Sharif, it's the thing I really agree with. Sometimes there just aren't levels. There aren't always going to be levels. You know what I mean? So you have to be taking a look at that.
Ooh, that's why.
Yeah, so crypto really strong. 1025 to me could be level on Riot. We had that little chop and turn. It was also a pre-market high. We've gotten some other super chats as well here. So many super chats. Actually, Vulcan, or Sharif, you might have more of a view on this super chat here because it is Vulcan. 20 Swedish kroner. Palo Alto earnings today. What is your take?
Go Pandub. Go Pandub. You know I'm invested in Pandub,
yeah, that's
Adara.
why I wanted to volley this one's even.
So I'm excited for PanW today. You know that they had that deal with IBM, I believe. They get a little bit of Watson. Watson gets some IT security, this, that, and the other. A nice little deal there. But it's going to come down to whether they beat or whether they missed. As Neil says, there's no good or bad earnings. There's better or worse. So we'll see exactly what they get. Last time, just have a look at that chart, baby. It absolutely huadunk. But guess who was buying? Nancy. Nancy was buying. Be something to it then. So I bought on the dip. I was buying 1, 2, 3 shares at a time incrementally on every drop down. I was buying into the 260s. There's clearly support at the 260s. This takes us back to last year. Let me stop talking about it and let me start showing you. Here's the look on PNW. I see your big chat or your super chat, Big Kyle. I'll get 1 second. I see hit. I see it. I see it. But this is the level that I want to talk about on PanDub. Look at this area over here at 260. This isn't by accident, guys, right? The fact that we drop from all-time highs at 380 to hold a previous level of support, pop back up, drop back again, hold that same level again at 260. So I got to tell you the truth. I bought at 300. So I was out of the money on PanW for a hot minute, okay? That was my initial entry. And then I was adding 2 and 3 shares every $5. It dropped, so I'm well in the money on PanW now. I'm not gonna say how much I'm in the money because I don't do that, but it is putting also a rounded bottom, right? So it was an earnings miss last time. The uptrend is absolutely still intact, and now it's kind of putting in that rounded bottom that the NOS boss absolutely loves. I like PanW. I also like the fact that it held up at the 200 here. It wasn't just price action support. So there was technical reasons as well why I was holding up at those levels, this 260, 265-ish level. I'm long PanDub. I like it. We got a whole bunch of upgrades today. A lot of price targets in the high 380s, mid 380s. That gives a lot of potential upside to this move. We're not even... we're at a critical technical resistance level around. This was a nice area crest that we got to in mid-December that we ended up rejecting off back to the 50 and then made all-time highs. So today, baby, PanW, after the bell, you're gonna catch that with Adara. You're gonna catch that with the Katina Man on the market recap show because this is a monster name. Every time I open up the news, Adara, somebody else has been hacked.
Yeah.
Somebody else's information has been stolen. These companies are in demand. That's just the fact of the matter. So let's do this. And guys, I'm basically talking up my own book here. All right. I am invested in PanW. I want to be very clear on that. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. He says join. He wants to see hit. So we're going to cover that for Big Kyle, HIT. Let's have a look at this name. This is the intraday. What is this, Kyle?
This might it might be a pun if you look at the dollar sign. I think it might be I don't know if it's the ticker as much as it is. That's immediately where my mind went.
Yeah, see, this is why you're a lot smarter than me.
The cheeky nature of some of the super chats.
Big Kyle, that's it, Big Kyle. That's it. No, we'll look at that ticker for you later, Big Kyle, the one that starts with the S.
I could be wrong, but that was kind of, yeah.
He's so proud of himself. He's so proud of himself.
Shout out to Kyle.
Big Kyle Burdett. I love Big Kyle. He's always sending me, he does like Sunday night charting now, right?
Oh,
so
okay,
he sends me all his charts Sunday night, tells me what he's looking at, what he's thinking. So I love that because he always gives me insight into the bear kind of look at things. You know, I'm looking more long.
Yeah, I was going to say you're more bull oriented, bullish, bull leaning. I can't think of the right word.
Maybe it's like the Taurian in me.
Oh yeah, because you're like
Cuspian.
Yeah, you're the Cuspian. I also that tattoo you said you wanted with the bull of the Gemini. I love that so much.
Yeah, I know.
Because you're extra bullish.
And my mom would make me leave the house and not be allowed to return though.
Okay, yeah, so maybe.
I don't think she'd care, to be honest with you. I gotta tell you the truth. I don't really know.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at Apple. I have a new plan for this trade. And you might be like, Adara, you're still in Apple? Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd love to leave, but Apple's not really allowing that to happen. So I was like, Apple, you want to play hardball?
Oh.
I'm trying not to have this emotional affair with Nvidia. I have no reason to leave. And the reason I would have to leave Apple to get into Nvidia is just because I am, new. I don't have as much risk. I don't really have the type of account, of course, because I'm new here, that I could be in Nvidia and anything else at the same time. So if I'm in Nvidia, I'm only Nvidia. So this Apple, I was like, you know what, Adara, if we're just going to keep chopping and turning between like 191.35 and 191 low 20s, play that range. Keep adding in, keep subtracting, add, subtract, add, subtract, add, subtract, ad nauseum. Initially, I wanted 191.34s. I don't think I'm going to get that. We're going to switch to 191.32s and just continue to add as we dip into the trough. This is a really odd scalp play, but it's my really odd scalp play, and I'm comfortable with it, so I'm going to get involved. Also, the TQs, lower highs. This could, I keep missing this range, but I still think it's a nice look. Donnie Zimbabwe, speaking of Qs, 99 super chat, still holding on to a lot of my May 21st QQQ 453 calls. Thoughts on the Qs levels at the moment, guys? Yeah, so I mean, on the 5-minute here, I do see these kind of lower highs, flat bottom. But we do, the flip of that is we have a kind of a flagpole, right? So I do think this could resolve either way. I think continuing to bounce off the 90 EMA would be a nice look. Let's take a look at the daily chart, though, because I think that's going to be the levels you're going to be more interested in here for your purposes. Yeah, so what is this, 453? Yeah, so honestly, for me, I think we did have that nice push up. I think what is this level? This 451.50 to me is kind of interesting. That was that area. We had that move down. We had a beautiful doji on Friday. Now we're pushing up. So I think if we could hold that support with that doji sitting all pretty and nice there, I think that's not a bad look either. Also, if you look to where this doji wick down to, that 449, look at that. Look at this 449 and look how on the daily we kind of wicked up to it a little bit earlier. Now we're wicking down into it. To me, I think that 449-ish area is not actually bad support here. So I think as long as we can stay above that 451 and then 449, I do not think that's a bad look at all. Also, Apple, I'd rather add to that position, but if you're going to drop, I'm not going to complain either. So shout out to my pal Apple, trying to get into my good books. I mean, hey, do your thing, 21. I want to also look at Robinhood because this is one of the biggest requested ones we've had so far today in terms of ones people are looking at. Robinhood wants to do its thing 21 very badly. Desperately. We got into 2085, then it sunk like a stone down into 2060s. However, we're bouncing kind of nicely here at the 90 EMA. I'd be interested to see what we do at 2055 because we had a bit of a doji there. But I think it is worth noting, this to me is kind of a bearish candle. We got at 2080. That little, I don't know if it's an evening, I almost said Death Star. I don't know if it's an evening star or what, but there's some kind of star. Shining bright, first star I see tonight, whatever that nursery rhyme is, at 2080, kind of having a little bit of a move to the downside. So we're going to see if Robinhood can have that bow and arrow here and bounce back to the upside, or if we kind of stay down. And I mean, Apple, I don't really know what you're doing, but just keep trying to figure out what you want. I love that. Selfie.
We have a special guest. He's joining us directly, not live now, through WebEx or whatever. Here it is, Ram. Can you bring him in? Hi, Big Kyle. How are you, my man? Shout out to you. Just sends me random pictures on the Instagram. He's probably proud of himself since he got me there. Guys, I'm out of NVDL for a nice winner there. We took about 25 pennies on that one as it broke through 42.85. This was basically the 940 hold, right? We talked about this level on NVDA. It was a pre-market top, and it came right back into that level and held up. So at around 5:35 to about 5:50, about 6 a.m., we were holding that 940 level as a level of resistance. We didn't quite make it up to 940, 939.80s. Then we kind of do the wick shimmy, into 940. We see that there's buyers there as a result of these bottoming tail candles, and lo and behold, we start curling right back up again on NVDA. We're talking about, you know, $3 worth of range on a $900 name, so it's not really exploding to the high side here, but a nice level off 940. That was in the pre. So keep an eye on that. Meta absolutely quadunked off that 430 touch. Technically, it got into 473.20. Technically, the IB high there, shout out to Dan the Man Emmons, was 473.20. This one made it up to 473.16. And right back down we go. But look where the closing prints are, all south of 473. So you could have had something off that level as well. So decent move here for META. It's still above the 20 period, well above VWAP. It's continuing to put in these higher lows if this trend holds up here. So the initial trough, the real level that we were dealing with was at 469.5. That held up 3 different times there between 925 to 1020. So nice triple bottom there. Then subsequent to that, we started putting in higher lows. Right now, we seem to be getting a bit of a bounce off the 20 period here on the 5, south of 472 on META. It hasn't been the big mover. I mean, it's flat on the day, but it definitely has a discernible trend off which we can trade. Everything's really curling back down here except for Nvidia. Let's be real. Amazon going down, Meta going down, Goggles going down, Tesla going down. Apple is dead as, you know, usual, right? I mean, that's just kind of the normal thing around here. Unless it's in the open, it moves. So keeping an eye on that. The soft one is also not really tanking, but it's doing the dance with no pants at 425. It's been doing that dance all dang morning. Since 10 o'clock when it came back down to 425, a little bit above, a little bit below, but hovering at that level. This was a beautiful double bottom, though, off 423 3/4. But who would have known? I mean, not me. I didn't really know anything about that level, and nor did that level show itself on the charting. So keeping an eye on that. Big Kyle, LOL, I was so proud of getting you. Yeah, your picture really told that story in spades, my man. Shout out to Big Kyle. He's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and that picture certainly told everything you need to know. I was just nodding aggressively when Sharif said Apple was doing nothing because, like, come on.
Really not.
Come on. Yeah. I wanted, like, literally to add at 32 as we get to 29s. And for the record, the bottom, the lowest we've gotten since I've entered, is 191.20. If I look like I'm losing my mind in this trade, yeah, a little bit. But I don't want to leave. I have no reason to leave. I think there's something here. I just wish whatever that something is would manifest like way faster than it is. And that's, I think, the biggest thing with Apple is it's just so easy to lose your patience in it because it gives you kind of no reason to get excited. Like, you're excited entering the trade, you're like, oh, I have a great level. And I also want to shout out Sharif because I feel like you are very good at trading Apple. And every time I trade Apple, I just lose my mind slowly but surely. Like, Apple is like me with Apple is like Jack Nicholson in The Hotel and The Shining. Like, I'm at him in The Overlook. I just keep looking at this, and the longer I'm looking at the chart, the more I'm like slowly, you know,
I like that.
falling apart. So weird analogy, but I think it's pretty apt. Pardon?
Yeah. I don't want you falling apart, but I like that analogy.
That. Yeah, I mean, like, metaphorically speaking, right? But also, Nvidia, if you want to reject 946 again, I initially liked that 943.50 bounce because if I'm like, hey, if that level I liked as resistance is going to flip to support, don't mind if I do. But, you know, I was still caught up in watching the absolutely nothing that was happening in Apple. So that was distracting me just a skosh. So nice look. Yeah, shout out to Kyle Burdett saying some nice stuff. We're always happy to be here. We have so much fun being
nice
here
of him to say,
on
man.
The How to Trade. And thank you, Bears vs. Bulls, for saying this is the best midway show in the world. We're happy to be here representing all of the midday shows here. I'm having a fun. I don't know how many there are, but we're having a good time over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Adara, 440 just came in for AMC. That's break-even level from Friday's close. So I don't know. I'm not trading AMC today, but keep your eye out for that 440 level. It just currently printed. That is Friday's close. Keep your eye on that. So that's one. The other one, shout out to... What's their name? Let me find out their name. West y'all won. Okay. Telling me basically, hey, HIMS at VWAP question mark. So, dude, It's at the 20 period right now, and you know my obsession with the 20 on stocks that are trending. It's doing the dance right now with 19. It put a bottoming tail candle through the 20, and then right quick, it got bought up to push it right through the 20 again. I like that idea. Look, if you want to wait for your VWAP dip, wait for it, but there may be other trades that could be had along the way. And again, the one that I'm looking at the moment is the 20 period. I'm not going to jump into this willy-nilly, right? I'm going to wait for a 20 period to hold and pop. It's got to prove to me that the 20 period is something that it's going to respect. If it does, fantastic. Right now, just opened up another 5-minute candle right above the 20, and here it goes. It could be moving into 9.25. So I like your idea for a deeper retracement into 18 3/4, maybe a smidge above that 18.5, maybe 18 2/3. You're going to have to keep your eye on VWAP to make sure it's not moving up. Otherwise, you're going to have to adjust your order. But I could definitely be persuaded here to get into a 20 period retracement on the 5. I'm talking about the 5-minute 20 period here if it holds up at said levels. So good look for HIMS here. I told you guys what the headline on this is. Basically, it's a company that they just send drugs to your house after you have them prescribed by one of their practitioners. Typically, they are nurses that prescribe this stuff. Usually, it's you see them virtually. They have you go into a local lab, do a couple of blood tests, this, that, and the other, and then once everything checks out, you find your prescription in the mail. We're seeing a lot more of these services pop up. They do hair stuff for men. They do erectile dysfunction stuff as well. They do weight loss. This is kind of a normal business now that we're seeing with these online kind of pharmacies that have the practitioner and the pharmacy in one, that you get them all online. So HIMS absolutely holding up here at the 20 period Ram. So a decent look here on the 5. I love this bottoming tail candle and the making of a newer high. It is definitely having some trouble though. You're not getting that same kind of parabolic movement above 19. So shout out to you, my man. If you want to wait for that VWAP, wait for it. I think it's a sound strategy.
I can't believe we're already like halfway through the midday, and I've spent pretty much my entire day in this Apple trade. But it's all, you got to stick with stuff you like. You can't run out. That's what happened to me earlier, as I had a Microsoft trade I really liked, and I weirdly just got bored and left. So it's like, you can't do that, right? If you like something, you got to get involved. And also, when I say got bored in Microsoft, I was in it for less than a minute. So you really have to trust your instincts, trust your gut, what have you. I want to get out here at 20, so it looks like we might get filled here. Finally on Apple. I could stay longer, but also I've been waiting so long for Apple to do literally anything. In this case, I don't want to push my luck. If we get into 20s, I'll be like, bye-bye. But yeah, so I'm proud of myself here too, because I added in, I had a planned edition, just had that order waiting to get filled at 190, 132s, right? So then we pop up almost to 40s. And I almost panicked. I was like, Adara, don't panic, sell, breathe. You said you wanted to risk into 190, 150s. You don't have that yet. We're out of Apple. So I think it's also kind of, to me, pretty funny and anticlimactic that I wait here for so long and we end up getting in, adding to the position, getting out of the entire position all in the same 5-minute candle. Shows that you can wait a long time, then everything sometimes happens all at once. But yeah, so Nvidia, now that I'm out of Apple, I can look at other things. I still like Nvidia 946 rejection, but I don't love the idea that it could be bouncing off VWAP. As Sharif mentioned, and I totally agree with, that 940 bounce in Nvidia was fast and furious. And I think there's something going on at that level that I kind of don't want to mess with. So if I look at the book, with Nvidia, I've always felt more comfortable if I'm watching my levels on the book first. So if I see something I really like on the book, I'll get involved. I have no interest in rushing anything. Because things take time, and as I say that, Nvidia's like, oh, but I actually would have moved to the downside if you'd just gotten in. So okay, whatever, do your thing, Nvidia. We'll have to figure out if we keep bouncing. I think this could be a long, but I just don't want to rush. Yeah.
Pan W. Look, I've never traded Pan W on the show. I don't think I've ever intraday traded Pan W, but I loaded it up because someone was asking, and this is the respect that it's had on the for the 5, for the 50. So the 1-minute chart. And that's the 50 period moving average. Every single retracement into the 50 has gotten bought up on Pan W. None have actually printed below. I stand corrected. One has here, 1032 on the 1 minute. It really hasn't been able to break through that 320. And I recall in, I believe, the aftermarket on Friday. Did we break through 320? No, okay. So that was in the pre-market today that we got into about 321 or so. So that's a decent look here for PAN-W. This is the 10-minute chart. Let's look at the 5, see if there's any. Okay, so it's respecting the 10 period on the 5, the 50 period on the 1. It's like what I told Obi, right? You look at the 5-minute chart and you look at the 50 period moving or the 50 period moving average, and then that seems to be the same thing. The 200 period will be the same thing on the 15 or something like that. There does seem to be, you know, this confluence depending on what time frame you're looking at and what moving average you're using, which is kind of cool because if you're trading on the 5, somebody else is trading on the 10 or the 15, and they're using a different moving average, they're going to also see a possible level of support. So decent look here for PAN-W, but it looks like it's having trouble with that IB high. That IB high took us into like that 320-ish area, made its way back into 319 3/4. We'll see if it holds up here. Let's flip back to the 1, see if it's holding above the 50. Yeah, it's right at the 50, and lo and behold, it's bouncing up again. PAN-W, but not a whole lot of volume, guys. Like each one of these 1-minute candles has like maybe 4,000 shares thereabouts. So a bit of a lighter, a little bit of a lighter trade on it, which is kind of surprising because you think, you know, there'd be more positioning into this name as earnings, as we're almost at earnings, right? Okay, another level here coming in on the ZON, AMZN. This one double bottomed here at the IB low was 184.15. We're awfully close to that now. We broke down below all the levels that we have put in subsequent to the bell. For the exception of this one right here, you can see what Amazon did right at the bell. It absolutely skyrocketed. Now Amazon coming into that 184 1/3. 184.15 is LOD. I'll definitely be looking for a long near these areas, whether it's the whole dollar level at 184 or it's the actual IB low at 184.15. Amazon is headed down into those levels. I'm going to have something waiting there. I like this level so much, we're going to put in an alert at the $0.25 to let us know that it's almost there. 184.15 LOD AMZN. Oh, Apple's now broken down below the 20 period. The first closing print that we've gotten on the 20 period on the 5 since about, I don't know, all day. What's going on over there? You're printing on AAPL. Oh, I forgot. The Katina man is short Apple in 191-ish area. 191.80 something. So basically, essentially, HOD, right? Because it's 190, is the high a day. Shout out to the Katina man. Guys, if you don't know about it and you're just coming back as a viewer, we got a new channel. It's called More Trader TV, and it has all of Neil's positions. He's not here today, so it's going to be Obi's as well as Sean's, as well as all the economic calendar. What Fed speaker is going to say what at what time. Make sure to get on that More Trader TV link in the description of this video there.
Yeah, like link in bio, but no, seriously, link in the description of the video. Check it out. So Nvidia has just been doing its thing. I wanted to get short 946. That would have worked, but we just didn't get filled. It's all good. Now I'm flipping to long. You might be like, Adara, what are you doing? You can't be this indecisive. I'm basing this all on levels I've seen on the book. Like for me, I feel comfortable in these because I've seen these levels last week, but also I've seen them today. 943.50 is a massive level for me. I have waxed poetic. I have yip-yapped all around the globe here, on and off all day about that 943.50 area. But you know, and what I did last week with Nvidia that worked for one of my entries is if you're not going to get the entry you want, which I don't think we will in this case, use that as your stop. So if we break below 943.50, I'll be out. I want to get it 944.15, 944.15, risking 35 pennies. I want minimum 946, so I want, yes, that's right, all of the smoke. I don't know if I'll get it, but it's something to keep an eye on. AMD moving kind of similarly, so if I do decide to flip, I'll probably do that, but I have a way harder time trading AMD for some reason than I do trading Nvidia, which is kind of an odd statement, but Nvidia and I have like a little bit more of an ongoing friendship, an ongoing, you know, love-hate, back and forth, you know, so I'm more comfortable with that. But you know, back and forth, we're gonna be going back to the lesson. Thank you, Sharif, for getting that ready for us.
Yeah, we usually do the lesson a little bit earlier, but because Neil's not here, we We typically do it a little bit later, but because Leon's out here, we'll do a little bit earlier. So, all right, guys, we're talking about the measured move all week long. Today, we're going to just explain what the measured move is, and then the rest of the week, we'll get more nuanced with the trades that we base off this technique, okay? So the measured move, it's what it's called. So welcome, traders. Today's lesson demystifies, baby, the concept of the measured move, which is a valuable tool for navigating the fast-paced world of short-term trading, and that's what we're doing up on this desk here. So what is the measured move exactly? So I want you to imagine a stock makes a significant price move. A measured move essentially helps future price helps estimate potential future price targets or areas of both support and resistance levels based on that initial move. So it takes a look at the big move, whether it was up or down, and then based upon that, it makes guesstimates about where the next move could go to and where to expect areas of support and resistance, okay? It's like gauging how far the domino effect might ripple after that initial push, okay? And here is an example of it. So you have the initial trend down, then you get the first leg up. You're able to measure that, the size, the price action of that wave one, right? And then based upon that wave one, you're able to make educated guesses about the length or the target that wave two might come to. So that's really the whole idea here. And then you see more nuanced descriptions on this chart, where to put your stop loss, where to wet your beak on some profit targets. This is more discretionary, and we'll get to that later in this week. But the whole idea is to tell you it's basically a principle where you're looking at the move and then you're making educated guesses about what the price might do subsequent to that move, okay? And here is a really good example of wave 1, 2, and 3, and these are based on Elliott wave theories, right? So we'll talk more about that maybe in the coming weeks, but we've already done a little bit of a introduction to Elliott waves. If you haven't heard it, go back, use that YouTube search page, and find out what we said about that on the lesson with Adair and I. So the basic idea of the measured move, it assumes that price movements tend to follow a certain percentage retracement of the previous move. Here's a simplified approach. So you can identify a significant price move up or down, works both for longs and shorts, on the intraday chart. Then you're going to calculate the size of the move by subtracting the starting price from the ending price. You're going to subtract the starting price from the ending price. So here's an example. So let's say a stock price jumps from $20 to $25. That's a 5% increase intraday, right? So you apply a common retracement percentage. If you're not familiar with Fibonacci's, go and get familiar with them. You're going to need them here, okay? So we'll apply a retracement percentage of 50. It's easy to do and simplifies the math. So we're going to apply the 50% retracement percentage on fibs. Then you're going to multiply the price by the percentage. So here's the example. I know it gets a little bit convoluted, but I'm going to show it to you perfectly there. So we have 50% of $5. What is that? That's $2.50. Super easy. I told you the math would be easy with 50%. So you're going to add for uptrends or subtract for downtrends the retracement value from the ending price to estimate the potential targets. So here's the fully explained example. So in our example, if we were going in an uptrend, right, it would be the following. The potential target would be $25, which is the ending price, plus $250, which is 50% of the retracement. That gives us a target of $27.50. For the downtrend, we do it a little bit differently. The potential target here is the initial price, $25 minus 2.5, which gives us obviously a target of $22.50. Sounds easy enough, right? But there are other important considerations that we have to keep in mind. Measured moves, they're estimates, they're guesstimates, guys. They're not guarantees by any means. And I would put less weight on them than I would put in technicals, personally. The market doesn't always follow a perfect retracement. That just goes without saying. You could also consider using different retracement percentages. I told you we're going to use 50% because it made for easy math, but those aren't the only two. In fact, 38.2 and 61.8 could be, visited even more often than that 50. So get acquainted with all the major fib levels and then go and use it in the sim or paper or on historical charts and see which one works best with your trading strategy. Okay, so you can consider using different retracement levels, 38.2, 61.8, these based on market conditions and your trading strategy, and combine the measured move with other technical indicators like support and resistance levels or trend lines for stronger signals. So how are you going to leverage the measured move? Once we figure out all these trades as the week goes on, how are we going to do that? So you can identify potential entry and exit points with them based upon this strategy. You're looking for a price move followed by a pullback towards the calculated retracement level, right? This could be a buying opportunity for an uptrend or a selling opportunity in a downtrend. But you also have to set stop loss orders as you typically do, whether they're mental or they're actual there on the order blotter. So you place stop loss orders below your retracement level for the long and above the level for short positions, always to limit your risk. Speaking of risk, the way to manage risk here is don't risk a significant portion of your capital based upon this trade, right? Also be prepared to take profits early in case the momentum doesn't carry the price action as far as your price target, right? And pro tip, practice measured moves on historical charts and get comfortable with the concept before applying it to live trades, Adair.
Yeah, thank you so much for going over that lesson. Havana Woody also chiming in here saying it's a lot easier to divide the move by 2 and either add to low or subtract from the high. That's how I do it in my head. Same with fibs, but the 50 is real easy.
Agree.
Yeah, thank you so much for going over that, Havana Woody. We also appreciate, especially with lessons that other people in the chat have more familiarity with, just getting another perspective, because that's one of the benefits of this community. So shout out to you, Havana Woody. Much appreciated.
Thanks.
Also, I tried something in Nvidia. It didn't work out, but I'm still proud I tried it, because I did like it. I was watching in the book. We get into 947. Keep in mind, we already rejected 947 a couple times earlier, right? So I was like, you know what, Adara? Try to take it short, risk into 947.50. We got to 947.50, I got out. Was it the trade of my life? No. But I was able to manage risk. And I think that's something that I think is important as well. And I want to shout out to Sean. He mentioned this earlier as well, but saying one of the things that came up in the market recap last Friday, and check that out with us, 4 to 4:30, check that out tonight. But we're going to get Pan W earnings. We're going to be getting lots of other earnings, including Zoom as well. We're going to zoom in on Zoom Communications out to the M. But yeah, so basically it's like you have to focus on certain names. And it's like if I'm watching on the books moving in Nvidia, I'm aware it's kind of a riskier trade, but I watched that we gave up that 947. I said, Dara, just try it. Didn't work out, but you don't know how, as I said earlier too, you don't know how things are going to work out until you try them. That is maybe one of the most basic truisms ever said, but that doesn't make it inaccurate. You know what I mean? And like I said, Nvidia, I'm still waiting for you at 948.50. I think that is, to use a Sharifism, the big boy level on Nvidia, that 948.50. I like this last week as well. So if we get that, that's what I really should have been waiting for. I wasn't, but I'm not going to hold that too much against myself, because you have to trade what you want to trade. Apple, I know I'm looking at the dead one again, but if it's going to keep rejecting the 90 MA and give me those VWAP plays, I can't really say no to that, even if it is one of the least interesting stocks to trade on these here markets. Sure, he's making a face like he agrees with me.
Yeah, 100%. It's, I mean, some days it can just be
a grind, a literal grind.
I thought you were going to make an apple pun there. I was ready for an apple pun.
You're pairing the apples. You know how pairing the apples takes forever? Like peeling it, like shoop, 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 shoop. That's what it's like trading. You have the wax up, wax off. I don't know. Now it's like Karate Kid.
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally what you get there with peeling the apples, and that's what I feel like when I'm trading Apple.
All right, that 184 1/3 or a quarter level, excuse me, on Amazon. It didn't trigger yet, but look at these wicking down into those levels. Tells me that other people are looking at that level as well, even though we're continuing to make it, making newer lows. But look at the bottoming tail candles. Typically shows you that buyers incrementally are starting to get interested at that level to push that back up, but sellers definitely still in control because we made a newer low, or sorry, a lower high, excuse me, at that 184.50 on the current 5-minute candle on AMZN. So I'm waiting. I want to see if we bounce off this level, 184.15 LOD on AMZN. I put an alert at the $0.25 to kind of give me a 10-penny heads up on that level. But if we don't make it down to that level and we start putting these bottoming tail candles showing that buyers are starting to overwhelm sellers at that level, I'm going to get long. And this candle is starting to do it again. So we're starting to do another wick shimmy in front of that level, AMZN. What the key thing here to look for, in my humble opinion, is to wait for a 5-minute candle to make a new high on a closing basis. Every subsequent candle from 12:05 onwards, so from half an hour, has been lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and yeah, you guessed it, lower high again. So if we make a higher high on a closing basis, add to that the bottoming tail wick shimmy that it's doing at this critical level here, then I'm going to get long AMZN. Yeah, it's still doing the wick shimmy. Jeez Louise with this.
Nice look.
Yeah, I love the wick shimmy dance. This is what Arun showed me on the future. He's like, look, when it comes into that 100-point level and starts doing these wick shimmies, that means, like, you know, there is a bit of a tug and war between buyers and sellers. But I got to tell you, I used it on a consolidative day when we were, say, like at a 100-point level. And it doesn't work on consolidative days. It works on trending days. Because the consolidative days, you're always looking for that break above the 100-point or the break below, and then you ended up getting shafted. So that's been my observation, and, you know, make of that what you will. But I'm liking this AMZN level at this level here. We'll see. I'm going to likely go long. And, you know, I'm going to have to risk. If I go long here, I'm going to have to risk about 25 to 30 pennies. And the reason is because that's where the low of day is. So is my trade wrong if we haven't triggered low of day? You know? So I realize it's a counter trend trade. And that's not my thing to want to do these counter trend trades, but I'm seeing what I see. And so I'm likely going to get long here.
Yeah, I think I see what you see as well, because I know you said you were looking for a while too, so I don't think it's completely off the cup, out of nowhere, because I know you said earlier, like, I'm looking to see what we do at Amazon. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll see what we do. And then you saw what we did. So shout out to you on that. Also, like, Apple, still positive on the day, but gave up a decent amount of gains, unfortunately, on this. Managed it appropriately. That's not the issue. The issue is just Apple decided to have a little pamp. And I was like, well, we're in the short, so that's like, eh. Got out where I wanted to get out. The second I get out, it goes back down. So I'm like, Apple, like, why? Why did we do this? And Apple, of course, has no answer. It's just smirking at me like, but if we bounce off the 90 MA, I have no problem flipping long. Like, I literally do not have a problem flipping long. I just want Apple to make up its mind. Meta. I like this level you identified earlier on Meta. We should get that 471.50. Meta actually kind of strong off of here. So I want to see what we do. At M to the E, to the T, to the A. I think there could be something for me in this name today that kind of rhymes, and I don't hate it. So let's see what happens there. Nvidia was like, oh yeah, so I know you want 948.50s, but I'm just going to pump like way higher. Is that cool? And I'm like, yeah. Like, whatever, Nvidia, it's fine. If we bounce off that, you guys know I'll flip. Like, if we bounce off 948.50, press buy, because I do love that level, and I'll take it whatever direction. I played this wrong on that 946.50 short. That was a mistake, but it also wasn't planned. Like, this long, I have no qualms about that one I took earlier, 943, whatever. And the risk management on both of these went according to plan, so I can't be too hard on myself. All you have to do is just look at the trade and be like, what did I learn from it? I learned maybe don't short this giant green candle, Adara. Maybe this is not what you do. You know what I mean? But yeah, I am down the day. Not a great way to start the week, but I'm trying to be a little less hard on myself, a little less focused on my P&L. Obviously, you know, you want to take these W's, but you have to learn how to lose in order to learn how to win, maybe. And I will say I'm learning how to lose quite a lot recently, and that's what you got to do. How are you doing?
Well, we're out of the money right now on it, but we're out of the money by 4 pennies. I'm high day on the future. 18,773.5. We're there right now as we speak. As I say these words to you, we've broken through said candle here at 10:50 a.m. That was the high of the day on the NQ June contract, and now we're up 0.75%. The soft one is curling up there into pivot point 2. Okay, on pivots, beautiful rounded bottom, double bottom through the break of VWAP. I didn't have this 423 3/4 charted. I don't know where the hell that came from. Is it another level on a different time frame? Let's see. So it's a 20 on the 10, not one that I typically trade off. Okay, it's 10 period retracement on the 15. Okay, all right. I didn't have eyes on it though. I didn't chart this level, but anyway, it doesn't really care what I charted. On the way up into 425 3/4. HOD is 426 3/4. Good look for the soft one as the future pumps. And I'm absolutely printing on my Amazon long. I am pleased as dang punch with this trade. The wick shimmy, it did good. Okay, so we did nicely there on the wick shimmy analysis on the Zon, but what he giggles.
Yeah, Sean also, like I told you, Sean was laughing recently about all your names for stocks. Like it was
The wick shimmy on the Zon?
Yeah, well, I think that's been
Can you imagine like how many people understand wick shimmy on the Zon? Probably like 10 people.
And the fun, I think that's why Sean thinks it's so funny.
Probably like 10 people understand that. What I mean by the wick shimmy, guys, let me explain what I mean by that because I think that it's worth talking about. When we do these bottoming tail candles here where you have successive candle one after another with a bottoming tail candle, typically what this is really indicating is this is the visual representations of buyers saying, no, that's enough. The price has gone down quite enough from this level. We're buying it right back up. And so then you typically get candles that look something like this, right? And so I just, jokingly made the name wick shimmy for it. That's the whole thing there.
Dance.
Yeah, right? So good look there for Amazon. I wet my beak on some profits right back into my level though. Now, the other one, TSLA, coming right into that VWAP area. Nice reclaim of the 10, the 20. It had been rejecting off both the 10 and the 20 at different times, different places here. The deeper retracement, as you've heard me say, comes into the 20. Right there, that 1045 retracement, then drop off the 20. But most of the rejections have come off the 10, which is the solid green line on my chart. Now we've broken the 10, we've broken the 20, and now we're looking to come into the volume weighted average price, which is at 174.83 generally, or thereabouts. So good look there for TSLA.
Yeah, it's a really good look on there. Congrats to TI Bryant saying printed on meta long. Yeah, I mentioning I do like that meta look. The same level that you like for the short, kind of flipping to long, I thought was kind of interesting. I didn't get involved because my whole thing with meta, and I've said this a lot, unless I'm like literally obsessed with a level, can't take my eyes off it. Meta, I don't trade meta because the spread is just too crazy that it's not really going to be worth it if you feel pretty good about a trade. For me anyway, it's only worth it if I'm like, oh, it's the only trade I want to look at. 25 penny spread right now. I just can't, I don't feel comfortable managing that if I'm being really honest. But if I'm also being really honest, Intel. I want to talk about the short because I have thoughts on this. Look at this support we had earlier, okay? This 13.14, look at this, the 32.14, this nice little support. Then we have that big move up, that topping tail candle identified by, I believe, Joanna Brewster in the chat. Shout out to you. Then we have this nice little move to the downside. Look at that. Swoop. Then we bounce here off 32.08, and look where we find resistance. That's right, 32.14. Boom. So if we stay below that, I'm going to stay in this short. I think we might break above it. I was aware this was a bit of a riskier trade because we did have this nice bullish pull. It was pullish, I guess, if you want to make a pun. And I was just about to get out, and then we come right back down. So I'm going to watch this here. If we do break decisively above that 32.14, I'll have to say bye, bye, bye. But right now, I do like this trade. I'm proud of myself for finding lots of levels of confluence for said trade. In terms of where I want to take profit, I have a slightly bigger position in this, and I think it's because I'm only risking like 4 cents. And I really, 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 really love this look. I don't know why I said really like that. But I want 32.06s. That's going to be my first area because look at this kind of wick we had here. Then I'm going to be saving a piece through the dream. And I don't want to say piece through the dream because whenever I say piece through the dreams, my trades go pretty badly. But I want to save to see what we do at that 32.04 area. So really just because I'm risking very little, I have no problem kind of distributing my shares, my trade as I walk down the aisle. They're like a little flower girl. Also, Donnie Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Holy crap, QQQs, 18K. I'm gonna take a week off. Laughing emoji. I mean, you're laughing all the way to the bank. That is for darn sure. Donnie Zimbabwe. Yeah, I think you said 453 calls, right? Yeah, that's a nice little look. My daily chart decided to
I can take
quit on me, but yeah, it's a nice. Congrats to you. That's a fantabulous look there, Donnie Zimbabwe on those TQs. That night, happy you're printing.
I love this fantabulous word, eh?
I can't believe I said that.
Yeah, you did. And I hadn't heard it before, but now I have. And I can't unhear it.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to hear it for the rest of the day. Great look here for the dead one as it starts to curl back up. AAPL is who I'm talking about there. Now, put in the low there at 191.02 exactly. And it looks as if, maybe that was it because now we're on our way back into 191.50. But, I don't think we've really put in any higher highs. That higher high here, if you were to consider this area a crest, we got to break through that 191 2/3. So that $0.50 doesn't mean a whole lot. is still a very consolidative level if we hold up at that $0.5. So to trend back up, we definitely have to break that $0.00 level on AAPL. Great look here on META. Look at this. We were talking about this level on Meta, this 472.5. Look how it came right back into the 50 period and held again. Look, it's been doing these drops and pop off the 50 period. So we've had 1, 2, 3, and now 4 holds at the 50 period on the 5. The initial 2 were kind of very doji looking candles, and now we got a break of it, but now we're break of it on this 5-minute candle, but now we're retracing right above that 471.5. So that level, decent level today on Meta. It's almost done nothing though, to be quite honest, 0.11%, but who cares when it's giving you a range off which to trade. For the remaining amount, I had got stopped out for a 5-penny loser on my Amazon trade, as this one was not forthcoming. It did bamboozle me a little bit. I was almost sure that this was going to at least hold up at these levels, maybe for a 185 retracement or something. But there you go. You get the wick shimmy, and it starts doing these zigzagging, these bottoming tail candles, and you think, okay, well, we're going to have a pop, and then you get the pop, but it's very short-lived. We got the pop to $0.00, and right now it is holding up at that level. What else is going on? Whoa, Meta just broke that 50 period quite aggressively there. Watch out for Meta 471 incoming here, because it did break through that 50 period. So that's where VWAP is, 471. That's where the pivot point is as well. Let's see if it holds up at that level. But yeah, a lot of movement here on META midday. The other one I want to talk about is this 950 level here on Nvidia. I mean, it's a $50 level, right? So there's a better chance that there may be resistance there. So we put a couple of candles. I don't want to short it just based off 950, but it's interesting that it's holding up at those levels. Now, I know it broke earlier, got to 952, but when you look after that crazy, more volatile time period up to about 10 o'clock, we've definitely had trouble breaking through 950 on a closing basis subsequent to 10. Right, so we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Good look there for NVDA. We got this thing long off 940. Imagine a trade NVDA. Wow. So good look there. 940 hold. That was the pre-market low, and it gives you $10. 940 low in the not the pre-market. It's a pre-market top. Yeah, well, I based the trade on NVDA off that level as well. So 940 here was this 550 top that we put in 535 to about 555. And the Katina man had that 940 area, but he had it on NVDA, not NVDL. And this was doing the same thing that Amazon did. It kept coming into those levels and doing these doji candles, showing you its intention, I guess, maybe to hold up off those levels. And then $10. It gives you more, actually. It gives you about $10.50 through that 950 area there. So good look on NVDA. Also, Tesla's making its way back into VWAP at 175, so be on alert for that. Apple curling up, Softy curling up. Now it looks like, and the futures at day's highs, so we got to look for something long here, Daryl.
Yeah, I actually have, thank you, Bears Bulls, for letting me know. In the other stream, we have a $20 super chat from Jose Mercado on PEGY. I greatly asked about PEGY $2 from what I understood there. I'm going to be honest, right now we're at 14 cents. So I think PEGY, Pineapple Energy, it's too bad Neil's not here for Pineapple Energy. But yeah, this is a nice look here. Not seeing any news on PEGY. Let's look at the daily chart to kind of see what we've got. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a penny stock, right? So the daily chart kind of reflects that. I would say it might take us a little while to get that move up in PEGY. We're kind of bouncing off the 90 MA on the daily, which is interesting. And look at actually, if you look on a wick basis, that 10-cent area kind of resistance. Right now, we're seeing that as support. So I think that's a nice look. I think way down the line, actually, okay, closer down the line, this top and turn around 23 cents could be interesting. Way further down the line, I do like that previous support around 45 cents. That could be nice. Then we kind of get that range around 58 cents. Then this is where things get very spicy. And that's going to be that support and resistance, flippity-flop, on the daily chart around 72 cents.
I like it.
I like this on Pineapple Energy. Hopefully this trade works out for you better than Pineapple Pizza works out for Neil. Because I think this could be an interesting look. I want to take a look as well and get some of the deets on this one, float-wise. Just give me 2 seconds. Also, I did get out of Intel because it broke above, and I was like, meh. Yeah, not been my trading day, not been the best day for me ever, but that, things can only go up. Although your P&L can go further down. But your optimism just has to stay up because you have to be bullish positivity. I think that's really important, and I think it's, much as it's kind of trite and cliched. Yeah, so here's the thing, Jose Mercado, for PEGY, just to finish this up. Float, pretty big, about 92 million shares, only 6.97% of that is going to be short. So to me, that's nothing really massive here to really kind of play with. I would just say, yeah, I think you kind of have to look at the intraday levels, which for me, right now, if we go to the 5, we kind of bounce slightly below VWAP. I don't know, to me, it might take a little bit longer for us to get off the schneid. We have a bit of a decline in volume here. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Tesla. I don't want to set up a VWAP rejection. I don't think that's a good idea because Tesla has a way of making you look like a fool, especially me. So I don't want to have a resting order. Sorry for this this wicking candle. I'll fix that in a second, guys. But we are making our way up onto the VWAP on TSLA. We're down 1 2/3, almost 1 2/3 on the day. So I was thinking, stick with the trend, look short off a key level. VWAP, it could be, it could be interesting. It's not making its way quite up there yet. We're still a couple of pennies off it. It's printing 66s. VWAP's at 85. I am a little hesitant, though, to want to take a short while the market's at day's highs, man. I mean, the market keeps printing. By market, I'm talking about the NQ. We just printed another day's high. We could see 18.8 when the big kahunas come on. And that's the reality of the matter, because now we're at 18,787. We're 13 points off 18.8, right? And so is this all-time intro? It is all-time, Jag. Yeah, well, thanks for that, Jag. All-time, I think the Katina man said it earlier too. He said we're all-time intraday highs, and I think it stands to reason that if we printed another high a day, then it's another intraday high, and there it is. Now we're about 10 points away from 18.8. So the market is absolutely on one at the moment, headed to the high side, and that's kind of making me rethink this VWAP retracement here on TSLA. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it, and come what may, baby. I'm gonna fix this wick here, Adair, so I'm gonna send it to you while I put out my orders.
Yeah, come what may, baby. I like that. That is inspiration. Also, I got into a short as well near high of day here, and it's gonna be, although Amazon, to be fair, is near low of day, so Amazon's doing very much its own thing. 21. I got short 184.50s. I love that long that Sharif had, and basically around where the end of that long was, I was like, perhaps it might be a nice little short, because look at this. We have all this little chop and turn. We have these failed wicks to the upside. I was like, Adara, I think if this thing was going to have a little pop, it might have done that already. So I want, again, I don't want to say minimum because we know I'll scalp out if I need to. I am eyeing around 39s, 35s, that 184 base. So I want like 15, 20 pennies. I'm risking into where we kind of have these wicks meet around 66s. So risking about 12 to 10 pennies, trying to make minimum 15. Bizarre risk to reward ratio, as mine often are. It's really just about going after stuff you want. I took too many shares with Intel. I didn't lose too much in it, it's whatever. But we had this nice little pop-up. Didn't work out for me, but you gotta be okay with that, because that's how these markets be. They are bamboozling. That's what happens in these markets. So you gotta be okay with that. I'm seeing apparently Bitcoin having a nice little day, as we kind of know. So let's take a look at just a bit here at IBIT. No, great look here. IBIT trying to continue to have this little chop and turn. Looks like it could break even higher. And look at this little slightly higher low kind of flat top break we had around 38.72. This is a great look on IBIT. Let's see how Mara is doing, because I know lots of people are having eyes on Mara. Yeah, Mara, again, not a super fun chart to analyze because it's just upside, upside, upside. You know what I mean? Mara continuing its little trek to the upside.
But you
not
see
much
the
I can say here. We did have that retracement into around 21s.
The 9.
And then 21 did do something for me. Or for Mara. So nice look on M to the A to the R to the A. So yeah, I really like that look. Like I said too, if we get back in, I don't know if we will, but that 1970s resistance support flip-flop is kind of a nice look as well. Yeah, 20, honestly, if you're long, Mara, shout out to you. Congrats, killing that. Nvidia looks like it's taken a little bit of a breath here. We got into maybe a double top at 951. This is not what I want to short right away. Like I said, with Nvidia, it always requires a lot of heavy book reading before I dip my toe into those waters, but I might.
I like it. Took some profits out on the Tesla short, but it's right back above my level again. So we'll watch this one. I've already put my stop, come what may. Now, what is moving is Apple, wow, what a move up here for AAPL. This is what you call a roundy bottom. Shout out to the NOS boss there. It doesn't even make it down into VWAP. I mean, the best it could do here was a 191 touch, and now it's curling right above those levels. But this is the level we set to keep an eye out, this 2/3 of a dollar, because when you look at it from like a zoomed out perspective, you can kind of tell that that 2/3 of a dollar is, you know, the crest there. So if you're looking for a higher high to come into play after that 191 hold, it's going to be here that we're looking at. This candle took us all the way up to 67s. Right now we're at 65. So basically there, let's see if we get it on a closing basis. Good move up for AAPL to, I guess, maybe test 191, 92 again, because that's the HOD at the moment. But essentially it's that 192 hold, because 191, 92 is essentially a rejection of 192. So keeping an eye here on Apple, looking for a 192 move. I definitely will be interested in some sort of short position there, but you're not going to catch me with a resting order. It's got to come up into that level, show me that there's sellers, whether it's by topping tail candles through the whole dollar level or whatever shows me that, you know, there's going to be some selling there. Then we'll get short on AAPL, but it is making a nice move up there right now. So keep your eye out on that 2/3 of a dollar to close on a to break on a closing basis. It's not forthcoming at the moment. That closing print on AAPL. All right, Google also. Wow, this. Okay, so this is kind of my fault here. I saw this level on Google. I'm like, look, 200 period hole in the 5. But I'm like, I said to myself, like, look, 930 held at the 200 as well, but it actually held up at that 176 level, which was Friday's closing print. So I was hesitant to use a 20 period because I thought, okay, well, this wasn't bouncing off the 200 period. This was bouncing off the 176 close on Friday. And there you go. You get a beautiful hold off the 20 period and right into 177 you go on Google. Keep your eye on 177.5. That is where VWAP is, and you could encounter some resistance there. Initially, we were kept rejecting off the 10. Now we're breaking above the 10 and the 20 on the 5. Next in line is the 50 period at 177, so we'll have to see if that one gives way. I see you guys talking about Bitcoin, baby. I see it. Bitcoin up 3.5%. It just printed day's high, 68,318. It's dipping now a little bit down, coming down off that level into about 68,150. Everything in Bitcoin world is moving up. Chief among them, Mara, up 12.33% on the day. Wowie wowza, $21.85. It hasn't been up here in a hot minute, I don't think. Let's have a look at the daily chart on MARA.
Wowie wowza.
Wowie wowza.
I love that. It's a new one.
I don't know. It just sounds came out there, Dara. I'm not really sure what to make of them, but yeah, just random sounds. Let's have a look at MARA on the daily here because it's been a hot minute since Mara's been up here. Shout out to BPI. You don't know who that is. That's Big Patty Ice, baby. He's the dude that sits behind me, and he knows a whole lot about Mara because he charts it all the time. Tells me every day what it's doing. I ask him how his girlfriend is. He knows exactly what I'm talking about, and he lets me know what she's up to on that day. Now, what we've been doing here on Mara is we've been putting in these incrementally higher lows and higher highs after bottoming out there in when? Mid-April. That was like the worst day for Mara there, man, when we broke that 14. Look at that, incrementally higher highs and higher lows, looking to come into, I would say, there's going to likely be resistance at 25 because that's where we definitely had resistance earlier, both resistance and support at 25 bucks, but that's an unverified BPI level. I'll get you the verified BPI level tomorrow, guys. Shout out to him. Patty, say hi. Hey, there he is. They zoomed in on you, dude. I didn't do it. So $21.99 HOD right now. Ram. $21.99 HOD right now on MARA. Great day today for Mara and for Bitcoin in general. Bitcoin's up, yeah, a decent amount here. So as we were talking, Adara, it looks like Tesla did come back down, but I was not able to wet my beak on the profits in the 40s there because I was talking and I didn't have a profit taker. Now it's back up and I'm out of the money again.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, same thing happened with me with Amazon. And I don't even have the I was talking. I was just not active because I wanted 40s. We got to 45s. I was like, Adara, wait, be paid. Yeah, no. It is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? You can't beat yourself up for stuff. And I am, like, to be clear as well, because I know I am very optimistic. I still take trading very seriously. It's like I think about, I'll be at the grocery store, I'll be like, I should have handled that trade differently. Like, I remember last week.
I like that.
That was the Monday after that was the day I got shut down. And I was like literally in the ice cream aisle and I didn't even end up getting anything. I was like, that GME today was so rough. Huh?
You
Like,
do that too, eh?
Yeah, I think about it constantly. So,
Same.
you know, I'm trying to be optimistic here on the show because I am pretty optimistic as a person, but I'm always thinking, how could the trades go differently? And right now, the reason I haven't gotten out of this yet is because A, I still like it, and B, kicking myself for one of the most questionable panic sells maybe in the history of trading. I got in, I had no reason to leave Microsoft, and I got out 1 second later. Literally don't know what I'm doing. The trade would have worked out. So it's just sometimes about, you have to go with your gut, and if you're doing weird panic sells, like, why did you even get in the first place, girl? So what I'm trying to say is it's about reflecting, it's about looking back, and it's about not judging yourself too harshly, but also being honest with yourself about trades. I don't know if any of what I just said made any sense, but it's just reflection is, I think, really key. It's not just a, not just a Mulan song, but it's also, about trading. It's like when really reflection show what kind of trader you are. So you gotta be pretty honest, be, looking back at things and seeing what occurs. Amazon at kind of a turning point, a decision point here around that 90 EMA. If we keep projecting, I'm gonna keep being pleased as punch. I wanted to rhyme and then I just couldn't think of a rhyme. Also, it's 1:04, so it's gonna be time soon for our lesson of the day. We didn't get Neil's lesson of the day today.
No.
Because we had Obi, which actually speaking is kind of funny because I'm actually in the zone right now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm in Amazon. I'm just in this short here.
I like it.
So I like how we're both Q's the high of day, and you and I both punched short. But to be fair, both the names we're in have been like quite weak on the day. So go us. Also go us because I don't know if your Tesla's just gonna drop, but I just got to run to Amazon. High five.
Hey, sorry, my hand's a little clammy. I apologize.
Trading does that to you. But yeah, so please just punch. Now that I'm out of that, do you want to go over that Tesla trade?
Yeah, again, I got stopped out for the remaining amount there on the initial trade, but it did do a topping tail candle through it, so I punched right back in and I was able to take more profits on this trade. But now, this was a quick scalp. I'm not really liking this anymore. It's continually putting in higher lows. If it gets a closing print above 175, I'm not going to be trading this short any longer. But right now, it's definitely still having trouble with 175, so keep an eye on that. Man, Apple is headed back into high of days now. We are less than 20 pennies off that 191.92 HOD. We are printing $0.75 now in the 75 penny area. So I think we could see 192. I want to remind you, I personally will be looking short at the whole dollar level at 192. I will not have a resting order there and then get punched through. I want to see it come into that level. Watch how it trades, see what kind of candle it puts out, whether they're topping tail candles and shows maybe that buyers are in control a little bit, whatever the look is going to be. I want to watch it at that level and then we can make a decision at that time. But I'm definitely looking at 192 short AAPL. Obviously, I want Apple to go up in the long-term Madeira because everybody knows that is my largest holding in said account. But I do see the lesson is up, so.
Yeah, we're getting ready for the lesson. I'm still just eyeing Nvidia, reject that 951, but hopefully we get some levels I like by the time this lesson's done. Because we're going to talk today about the measured move for intraday trading. And again, thank you so much to Sharif for setting up these lessons. Much appreciated. And I know a lot of people, I'm always learning here as well, right? It's always different stuff each week. So what is a measured move before we get into the measured move details? So basically, if you have a stock making a significant price move, a measured move might help you estimate potential future price targets or support resistance levels based on the initial move. So it's like gauging how far the domino might ripple after the first push. So you have your first big move, but where do we go from there? That's what the measured move is. So here's kind of a detailed example. You have your kind of initial trend. Then you have, you look at kind of the size of the first leg here, right? And then when you have that pullback, you're going to measure that pullback, use that to use, hey, where can we go from here? Then you've got your second leg, and then you have your stop loss, which is going to be slightly below your entry point, and then where you might want to take profit. Because what's good about this is it can also help you determine your profit takers, which can be kind of some of the harder areas that you can use. Also, you can do this Q here if you go exclamation point join and then your ticker. Space and then your ticker, then you can join the queue for Sharif's new segment, looking at some charts this afternoon from 2 to 2:20. So definitely do that. Here's an example as well of the move down, which is kind of cool. You have your move, then you've got your retracement, And then you can use, you kind of would enter maybe at the bottom of this, then you have your stop loss also, use making these measured moves, and then you have your areas you can go for your profit taking, right? So again, not always gonna work out, but it gives you a nice little template, a nice little idea of where things might go, where you might want to take your profit and enter. Let's talk about basically kind of the gist here of measured moves. So measured moves basically assume that price movements are going to follow a certain percentage retracement of the previous move. So a simplified approach would be identifying the price move up or down in the intraday chart, and then calculating the size of the move by subtracting the starting price from the ending price. So here's one example. Let's say you've got a stock price jumping from 20 to 25 intraday, so that's going to be a $5 increase. And then you're going to apply a common retracement percentage, so let's say 50%, and then multiply the price move by the percentage. So then what you're going to do here is, to continue the example, 50% of 5 is going to be 250, right? So then what you're going to do is add your 250 in uptrends or subtract for downtrends the retracement value from the ending price to estimate your potential target. So in our example, if you're in an upward trend, your potential target's going to be $25 and your ending price plus your 250 retracement equals $27.50. Now it's going to be the opposite if you're trading this thing to the downside, right? Your potential target's going to be $25, it's your ending price, minus your 250 retracement, that's going to give you $22.50. So you can do this either way, right? Which is great. It's a bullish and a bearish one. And so let's talk about some important considerations. We love looking at considerations because this market doesn't like to play fair. It doesn't like to play rules, and it does not give a you-know-what, to use a Sharifism, about any levels or things you like, right? So some important considerations. Measured moves are going to be estimates. They are in no way guaranteed. The markets owe you nothing. So you have to be aware, because it's not always going to follow perfect retracement, right? Sometimes it will, and you'll be like, oh, that's perfect. But sometimes it won't. You have to be prepared for every eventuality or possibility. You also might want to consider using different retracement percentages based on market conditions and your trading strategy. If you like percentages, if you find that interesting, shout out to the Fibonacci princess herself, Tammy Marshall. She comes on the Market Recap Show every other Wednesday, so you can check her out. She'll really great guest, really fun to have. Sean and I talk to her every second Wednesday on the Market Recap, so definitely check that out. Also, what you might want to do is combine measured moves with other technical indicators, which is an approach we always advocate for here on how to trade. You always want as much confirmation as you can get. You know what I mean? So why look at just one indicator when you go look at 5? No, I'm joking. Like, in all seriousness, you want indicators that work well together, right? You don't want to push too many, but if you have some that makes sense, that will, of course, make sense for you. Now, what about leveraging these measured moves for intraday trading in particular? Well, it can help you identify your potential entry and exit points. You want to look for that price move followed by a pullback towards or push back up into, if you're in a short, your calculated retracement level. So this could be a buying opportunity in an uptrend or a selling opportunity in a downtrend.
Down.
So let's also talk about setting your stop loss orders, because we're not no stop loss gang over here in these parts. No, sir. Mr. Bob, old man finger waving. So you might want to place your stop loss order below the retracement in a long position to limit losses if the price falls sharply, or above the level for short positions to exit if the price rises unexpectedly. And so also worth noting, you always want to manage your risk, right? We talk about this ad nauseum. That's because it's so very important. Measured moves provide estimates, so you don't want to risk a significant portion of your capital based on this concept. Also, be prepared to take profits early in case the momentum doesn't carry as far as the measured move suggested it would. So I always talk about scalpulation. Have your plan, but also have a plan B or a plan C in case the markets are like, I don't like your plan, I'm going to do that. Like, okay, I don't know what you're going on about. So in case the markets do that to you, do that very fun voice to you, you need to be prepared to switch it up. And here's our pro tip as well. Practice using measured moves and historical charts to get comfortable with the concept before applying it to live trades, and always make sure consistent practice and combining this concept with other strategies are being used to help make things make a little bit more sense. And of course, join that queue in the chat if you would like, if you want to see Sharif cover one of your charts this afternoon, because we're really excited about this new segment.
Absolutely, and I just got into NVDL, so I'm just putting in my stop as we say, because we had an NVDA retracement onto the 10, and so we're gonna give it the old college try or whatever. Guys, it is now 1 o'clock, and we have an entirely new segment coming on between 2 to 2:20, and it's all gonna be controlled by you guys. So you'll recall how we did it previously. I'd get back on the big desk with Brendo, the big kahunas would take their seats, and we would kind of go through the rundown like we did in the morning. That's the old way. Now we're gonna put it in your hands. We're going to talk about what you guys want. So there's going to be 4 tickers that we cover technically, not from a fundamental perspective, but what's moving, but from a trading perspective. We're going to cover those 4 tickers between 2 to 220, and you guys get to vote for which tickers we cover. It's super easy. As you can see, Ram zoomed in, 100 times zoom on it. You're going to hit exclamation point. You're going to write the word join. You're going to put space, and you're going to put the ticker that you want preceded by that $ to let the Streamlabs know that you're talking about a stock. So you're going to put that in there, and at the end, we're going to tally all them up and see what the top 4 are, and those are the ones we're going to cover. So if you want us to cover what you guys want to look at and what you guys want to talk about, participate and have your say. And make sure to include that $. Like when you go on Twitter and you want to kind of get everybody, or X, sorry, Elon, when you want to get everybody's attention about a ticker, you're always putting the $ in to kind of let everybody know you're talking about a stock, a ticker, right? So you have to enter that $. In there after or preceded by the actual ticker name, okay? The $ precedes the ticker. So that's a look there. And yeah, I love the fact that you guys are already doing it. Shout out to you, Toilet Brush. Shout out to you, Sebastian, Charlie Taft, Steve O, Dater Trader Cut, Kurt Hoffman, Big, Kevin Mendoza as well. Everybody chiming in there. Thank you for that. And we're going to, that was a fat finger. We're going to say thank you maybe to NVDL here for some profits as we continue to move up on that NVDA 10-period retracement, Dara. So, yeah, we want to see you guys participate. So, Jim Zed, I see what you did there. You typed in the $ SMCI. Not good enough, my man. You got to type in exclamation point followed by the word join, no spaces, and then a space with the $. Ram, if I can put this back up, sorry. This is how you're going to do it. So you're going to type in the word join, space, $, and the ticker that you want. That's how the format has to be. Otherwise, Streamlabs, excuse me, won't have a clue what you're talking about, and it'll go uncounted. So we're super excited for this new segment, guys. We're excited about it because we put the power back in your hands. Sometimes we feel like on the afternoon show that we're not talking about the tickers that you guys want. Things have changed since the morning and the afternoon. So that's why we're doing this. We're putting it right back in your hands, and I could not be more excited. I'm going to cover the tickers with the big kahunas. I'll be on the green screen where Adara does upgrades and downgrades in the small cap recap, and the big kahunas are going to be at their desk, and we're going to just kind of riff back and forth, and I'm sure I'll be bullied and made fun of and stuff like that. All the good stuff there with Neil and Sean when they're back. So we'll keep eyes on that there. What are you looking at there?
It's pretty funny, yeah. I'm trying to get into this Nvidia, but I canceled my order because I don't want to rush into this. I wanted 949s. I didn't get 949s. I can't be a bitter Betty just because I didn't get 949s. You know what I mean? I will, however, say, and I'm very hesitant to say this, if we keep struggling a skosh with that 950, I kind of want to go short. And I say that so hesitantly because it's Nvidia, because I already took an L on Nvidia short earlier today, because I know how things move, because we're bouncing off the 90 EMA, because I like the look of the long, because I don't want it to seem like a revenge trade. Now that I'm done listing all the reasons I don't want to get into this, I'll talk about why I do, because there are reasons. Look at this chop and churn around this 950. We had this chop and churn. I watched for a while. We struggled to break above that 950. And this is maybe a lower high. I know we're bouncing off the 90 EMA. I know we had that bottom tail candle. And I know NVIDIA is probably going to prove me wrong by the time I finish the sentence. But to me, there's something about this weakness in 950 that makes me want to scalp it short. I don't know what it is.
I think you're bang on.
I think the market could get kind of, but I think now we're dropping. But I want you to print as well in your NVIDIA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like done well. Yeah, exactly. So I agree 100% with you that there is 950 resistance. No question about it. We were talking about it earlier today. Just because it got to 952 doesn't mean anything. It's a $900 name, right? Yeah. So to me, it's 950 is the level. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, so we're going to try that.
Yeah, go for it.
I see something I like.
All right. Did you have anything else?
That's it. I'm just staring at NVIDIA like a crazy person.
No worries. Okay. So now it's moving up here on NVDL. But I'm just going to let this one go. We're holding a little bit of an amount here. So if it continues to move up like it's doing right now, I'll print on it. We're nice 15 pennies on the money here on NVDL. This one's up 5.5%, but I'm still in absolute agreement with Adara until I get a big boy move beyond that 950 level on NVDA, not NVDL. I am still of the opinion that 950 is the level, and it's corresponding with the kind of the action that we're getting here on the future. I'm not trying to say that Nvidia is single-handedly moving these futures over here, but we did get a decent move down. So something to look at here as we kind of dance with that 950 level on NVDA. This other one that just came in, beautiful rejection off a general 50-period area here on the 5. I don't want to put too much stock into this 50 period because it did break it on a closing basis, not by much. But here comes right into the volume-weighted average price again, 174.88, double eights. That's where VWAP's hanging out here on the 5. It did move into 175.25, but believe it or not, even though it's a nice retracement off that 173.25, it's still a lower high because this is the high off which we have to base it. It's 175.75. That's where we crested out last time. And so we weren't able to make it up quite back to that level. So that, in my book, counts as a lower high and maintains the weaker trend on TSLA, even though it was a bit of a better bounce than some of the previous bounces. So keeping an eye on TSLA as it's looking weak at these here levels. What are we doing on NVDL now that we pulled back a little bit here on NVDA? We're still printing 37, so I could have printed at 45s. Now it's showing 35s. I'm going to pack my patience with this one. If it heads up, then we'll call it a good trade. If it heads down, then I'll stop out, break even on the remaining amount. So that's the move there. But I want to mention a couple of other ones right now. Apple's headed back upside, looks like to 192 or trying to break through this crest over here at 191, low 80s. But look at Meta, just absolutely dumped on itself. 473 and a fifth HOD, and we just printed 469 and a third. So nice retracement off that level, but it is a rinse and repeat level on the Zuck train. Look at this level over here, 469 and a third. We've held that once, twice, and you guessed it, dang thrice off that level. So this level comes in 469 and a third on Meta yet again. It's the third time it's been here since the bell has rung. So does it now give way to that level? Is third time no longer a charm for said level on META? We're going to have to pack our patience and wait. Let's see what we're doing on our NVDL trade. Nicely back in the money on this one, about 15 pennies. Let's see if we can get that 952 break. I have my suspicions about it, but I'm going to hold on to the remaining amount to see if we get that break. I want to print on it. So that's a look there.
Yeah, I think this short, I just got out of the short. I didn't, and then as I do, whatever, it's fine. You got to do what you got to do. Does it feel great when stocks move the way you want it to the second you get out? Nah, it never does. But that's the whole point of the game. It's literally the point of the game. It's what you do while trading. And that doesn't mean I can't get back into it. You know what I mean? It just means that I was probably a little bit too scaredy cat in the first place. And it didn't, I risked what I wanted to risked into like 950, 70s, because that was a bit of that top. And I said, if we break above this, you're not going to get out, Adara. You're going to get stopped out. Or you're going to get like shut down. So I was like, but yeah, okay.
He just drops a hotline and he walks away. I'm not going to. That's like a lot of shares, bro.
Sean has a mildly obscene amount of shares in NVIDIA.
Yeah. And then he just walks away like it doesn't even matter.
The amount of shares I've taken in any NVIDIA trade. Just that's actually what it is. So shout out to Sean. Now I think going NVIDIA long might be the play now. As much as I mean, you know that you're in it. But I was just waxing poetic about leaving the short too early. But I'm seeing some bounces in Adara. You got to switch the style up. And if they hate, then let them hate. And watch the money pile up, hopefully. The pennies pile up. So, yeah, let's see how this goes. I think we could be compressing for more of a move up. I think the short was a bad idea, but I'm still happy I tried it because I liked it. And that's, I think, sometimes what matters.
Nessa is on your side. She's cheering you on, man. She wants that 952 break on NVDA. Nessa, hopefully if we push through 950 on NVIDIA, she blasts up to 1,000 by end of day. That's ambitious, Nessa. Look,
I like the ambition. Nessa.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I do.
Absolutely do not mind it. I think, we'll probably range below 1,000 Nessa until Wednesday because that's when the earnings are, right? And so, I don't know. I think if we beat, we're definitely going to blast through 1,000. It's going to be all-time highs. And I do think we beat. I don't have any, obviously, information to support that, but just the amount of demand by the hyperscalers and everybody and their mother's cousin for these chips that they can't get their hands on, you just have this feeling that they're going to beat, that they're going to come with a ridiculous guide again, and they're going to have beaten by like 15, 20%. I don't know what they beat by last time, but anyway, ridiculous amounts. Okay, so I'm still in this trade here on NVDL. Nothing's happened here, but I'm really eyeing this trade now on Meta. Okay, this trade here, we're at those levels. We're breaking down, man. 469 could be incoming here on Meta, and I'm getting the beep for Amazon, but that level on Amazon is no longer relevant for me because I already traded that one. So I'm going to leave that there. 469 is... What's this print over here? This is 469.12. 469.12 is the local low. I don't put too much stock into this IB low here, 467.04. This is a huge wick down on the opening print. So that to me is not the real low of day. The real low of day is going to be that general 469 area, and right now it's holding up at those levels. So we'll keep watching here. I'm definitely interested in this trade on Meta. I just don't want to catch a falling knife. I feel it might be dangerous. So let's flip back here into MET. What we could do, though, is we could get long here and risk 25 pennies. We get a 469 break and we're gonzino, right? I mean, that literally could be the trade right now. And if I could wait a bit more and probably get a better price, too, not going to lie. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get long here on Meta. Call me crazy. But I'm going to get long here on Meta, and I'm going to risk whatever amount into the break of 469. So there we're long, and I'm going to put 469 break it there.
I love the call me crazy. Yeah, so you might maybe call me crazy. I have not a great price here on Nvidia at that 950. Shout out to Sharif for getting a way better price on that. But yeah, I mean, I'm staying in Meta. I'm watching Meta. What? I'm staying in Nvidia. I'm watching that because I was looking at. Because you know, I knew you and I were in one of the same positions, and I saw the Meta. I was like, I'm in Meta. No, I'm not. No, not getting into Meta. But shout out to Sharif, hope you print. I have an Nvidia. We are just hanging out around 950, sitting nice and pretty. If we'd like to sit like, you know, prettier, if we'd like to get to like 951s, maybe I'd be pretty pleased this bunch. But I've noticed we're having higher lows, and I don't mean that in the chart basis, although kind of, yeah, on that 90 MA, but I mean on the book. With Nvidia, I find if I watch the book for my scalps, it helps me tremendously. That was not the word, tremendously without the extra L. That's what I really want here. I'm watching on the book. We're having these higher lows. I do like that. I want all the smoke, maybe. And I think with Nvidia, you really shouldn't trade it unless you want all the smoke. And that's why I got out of that short, because it would have worked out for scalps. But I just was like, Adara, I don't know. You kind of rushed into this. I think maybe at least some of this could have been, if not a revenge play, then a FOMO play. And neither revenge or FOMO, I mean, they result in the same thing. They result in trades that are taken over on emotions rather than technicals. So that's why I got out, even though I do think it could have worked as a scalp. Now, though, I like this. I like the long. I'm in here with my pal Sharif to the right of me, and we're both waiting for Nvidia to get chopping and turn into the upside. I want to see what we do at 949. 50s, and as I said that, Nvidia's like, oh, you want to see? I can like just show you. I'll just go there. But yeah, I don't like. I'm gonna have to get out of this here. We're breaking down just a skosh. But you know, you got to try again. You don't know how things are gonna work until you try. This has been a really rough start to the week for me. But you know what? It's a Monday. That means there's 4 more whole days for the market to chop me up. No, I'm joking. There's 4 more days to make some good trades, right? You don't want to be so hard on yourself on day one. I am. You know, I take trading really seriously, and I'm also. I think because of that. You know, I'll beat myself up a little bit, but it's like, you know, you should take things based on levels you like, and you shouldn't not get into something because you're worried it won't work out, because it could also, you know, it could go well too. So you want to make sure you're cognizant of that. We're out of Nvidia. Let's a little bit more on that than I wanted to, because the spread did not get me filled, but you know what I mean? Yeah, it's all good. Got to keep going. Also, I want to talk about Amazon again, because I was really happy with this. We're seeing a little bit. It was kind of curled beyond the 90 MA still. And I want to shout this out. I forget who this was, but someone in the chat was saying that the Amazon trade was a good idea, but you could have stayed in a little bit longer. I want to talk about this. So I scalp because when I don't scalp, oh my God, Nvidia. What's happening in these markets? I'm so happy you got it where I did on that at least. I'm trying to find the news on this. I'm not. Oh, okay. I don't know if this is it.
What?
But there's some news coming out potentially of about some. Yeah, I don't know if that's what it is.
Because he may not win, right?
That's
the
true
thing,
too.
right?
Yeah.
So
There's some
that could
potential
be.
stuff happening on
Yeah.
in Israel. I'll just say the headline. So basically, foreign policy advisors to Donald Trump met with the Prime Minister of Israel. So we're not really sure what's going on there, but that's just one headline that I'm seeing. I just wanted to bring that up in case that is what it is. But again, that was from about 3 minutes ago here coming on Benzinga. We did get that nice drop in the market. Shorts are in. But yeah, basically, I think what I was trying to say with the Amazon story is you just have to figure out what your trading style is. For me, I find the longer I hold something, the more questionable decisions I make. So you just got to scalp and get out. But yeah, how did your... Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Stopped
out right away. Yeah, no, you know exactly. Yeah. The market dump came and the stop triggered pretty dang quick. But I'm not really sure. I looked at the book, my calendar here. We have a bunch of speakers, but the last one that started talking was Governor Jefferson. That was 10:30. Then we have Mester at 2 o'clock, and then we have Bostic really late, like at 7. So not really sure what the hell happened there, but who cares? Look, there's obviously stuff going on in the Middle East. We're going to acknowledge that with Iran. We're not really sure exactly what's going on, but there could be stuff today, midday, as there always is with these geopolitical news headlines. So that's what I'm looking at. Fuge getting a bounce off the 50. Meta curling right back above pivots, trying to reclaim that 469 area. That's where I got stopped out of really aggressively there as it broke 469. But good thing I had my stop because this thing went all the way down into the 468, I think, teens. So if it does a retracement off these levels, that'll be a bottoming tail, a hammer candle, and I'll be interested in going long again. Softy kind of did that right here with VWAP dipped aggressively, but not that much, really into the 50 and the 200, and VWAP at 424.40s, and right back into the 80s it goes. So looks like, possible retracements coming in on these markets after that big move down there. It's holding up at the 50 right now, but I'm not really sure what to make of it. I got stopped out of my NVDL position as well because that came down quite aggressively there. We don't know what the news is quite yet. La Beardod. You never really know exactly what happened for lads. Why were you banned? What happened? Message me. You're usually pretty good in the chat. I don't think anything really happened there. Yeah, that's it. Let's look at the small cap gappers real quick here and see what they're up to. HIMS has made it back down to VWAP. Finally, somebody was asking me about a HIMS VWAP retracement trade. I think it was Brad Gober. Shout out to Brad. I think this is finally starting to come in, but yeah, this could be a VWAP hold high of daybreak kind of trade where it straddles VWAP into the more liquid time of day, then you get that 20 test because that's the high right now, $20.11. So, oh, I see. No worries, Forlats. All good there. All good, brother. NKGN, been doing the dance with no dang pants. VWAP here, bouncing off every retracement into the VWAP, but it's not giving you that much in the way of range, about 15 pennies or so, if you're able to catch the lows there and then catch some of the tops. So these are the small cap gappers that we're moving to this morning. Some of them have changed, I think. MMV, what is this one up to? It's below VWAP, so nothing for me on that. All right, so we'll watch to see if the market catches a bit of a bottom here and starts moving back up top. That was a big rejection off that 18,794. We moved down in 18,745, just about less than about 50 points or so, but we are catching a bit of a bid here on the 50 period, on the 5, on the NQ, as we are with some of these other names as well at different technical levels. So I'm going to keep an eye out here for possible longs that could come in here or there.
Yeah, so Joanna Brewster, we don't actually have any news in the Middle East. We just to clarify, there's no hard definitive news.
Yes,
the only thing that we saw was apparently, and this came out a couple minutes before the drop as well, so maybe not necessarily related, but we did have Reuters reporting that apparently Donald Trump and foreign policy advisor Donald Trump just meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel. So again, that came out a couple minutes before the drop. We're not sure if that's what it is, but that is all the context there. So just to clarify, we don't have a hard story. Thank you so much, Francisco Infante, for the $4.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much for the super chat. Baba short? Question mark? Yeah, let's find out if we can have an answer for that question. Again, we don't get not advice, but we'll give our take on the chart. That is for sure. Oh, okay. Okay, I love this. Look, you can tell because I did my little scoot back in the chair that Sharif always laughs at. So yeah, this is a great level. I love this 88.50. Look at this. Chop and churn 88.50. We pop up lower high, chop and churn 88.50. Swoop to the downside, come back to 88.50. We reject. Guess what we come back to? 88.50. So, you know, I'm going to stop saying 88.50, but I do think this is a great level. We had to move down in the market. Baba was like, I don't care. I'll continue doing what it did. Some chop and churn. My one thing here is we do have a double bottom, and we also have a double bottom at around that pre-market high. So I would say be very cognizant of this double bottom because that could be a little bit of a factor. But other than that, it looks like a pretty tasty range. I actually might have to put Baba on yield side chart because I don't mind this look at all. I would say be very cognizant of the fact that we're trying to bounce a little bit off that 9 EMA and that this previous resistance could flip to support, and also be cognizant of that double bottom. Other than that, Francisco Infante, I don't really think this is a bad look. We're basically slightly down in the day, pretty flat. Could go either way. So yeah, I would say definitely keep in mind the possibility of that double bottom and that earlier area of resistance in the pre, but I think there's something that could happen there, and I think I totally see what you're saying with regards to the short. Again, no advice, just my take on this here chart. Also, I'm short AMD. This could be an AM disaster. I find, for whatever reason, my AMD trades either go really well or really badly. I don't know why this is the case. I don't know why I struggled with this name so much. Someone in the chat, I forget who it was a while ago, said AMD is the widowmaker. And honestly, AMD is prone to some really crazy action. I think that's fair. Right now, we're basically flat on it. I liked it because we had, and I think yeah, there we go. We had that failed wick here, then we kind of went down. I'm aware this could actually be support at previous resistance. We're going to risk up into where this wick was around 20s. If we get above 20s, bye, 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 bye. But I do want this breakdown into at least 75s. I want that breakdown to near view up. And I might regret this trade. I think one thing is I'm trading way too many names. Need to definitely calm down in the amount of names. And now, of course, Nvidia is rejecting off the level I like. But you know what? If Nvidia is going to reject, maybe AMD can too, because I'm not going to emotionally cheat on this trade. How was your meta?
Good. Well, hopefully we're about to print on it right now. It's coming into my level. And as I say that, it gets a print down. So I'm going to pack my patience. Stops in, profit takers in. Let's see what we get on this one. But there's some good levels coming in, some other stuff as well. Google at an interesting level here as well, because last time around it held up right at this level. The 200 period on the 5 was the hold up here, 174.5-ish. So comes back into the 50 period, rejects off the 50 period, and right back into that level again is goggles. So possible good look there, but I think we may tank on this level on the future. This is a level we've been at against 18,740. We'll see if we tank. Nvidia is coming right back up though, so we'll keep eyes on that. It's Amazon who's really weak. Amazon and Google look really weak. Meta was obviously weak. It's down 0.2% on the day, but it seems to have caught a bit of a bounce. I don't want to jinx it because I'm long Meta and I'm out of the money by 4 pennies right now as it didn't print me. But yeah, this is an interesting level. Google, let's see if it holds up at this level, 176.50. It was down in that area before. It definitely held up. So this could be another possible rinse and repeat style predictable trade on said Google. Amazon, super weak. Wow. Let's flip back here into goggles to see what we're looking at there. This 176.50, like we've been saying, is an interesting area. Let's look long here. I'm long goggles. I'm going to give it like 10 pennies worth of risk. We got, what do we got? We got 49s, so we'll give it to 39s. Yeah, so we'll go 176. We'll give it to 39s, and then we'll get out if it drops a little bit below that. So looking for a hold up here on goggles at this level at the 50 period. Yeah, we'll see. All right, what's the meta trade doing? Right back into my area again on meta, looking to print on this one, but you know how it is. It's spreada. It's super wide spreads on meta. That's typically the case with it, so I'm not getting printed quite yet, as we definitely dance with that whole dollar level in that key area of resistance there, support. On META, down 0.2%, but at resistance level, support level 2 on pivot. So looking for a move up on META. What are we getting here on goggles? Let's look back to the trade on goggles. About 4 pennies out of the money right now on this trade. Stops in place, looking for a 200 hold up. What is everybody else up to? I see you guys saying, yeah, market all-time high. Could be people taking profits at these levels. Makes sense. Absolutely don't disagree with that. Kind of hard to know, especially with such a big down move, though, whether that was actually profit-taking or something more driven. Big Kyle Burdett says, what about Amazon, baby? Because Big Kyle was calling the short on the ZON today. AMZN definitely down. Big on the day. Down, what is it down here? Not big. Okay, it's down 0.2%, but definitely a weaker looking chart at these levels. So shout out to Big Kyle for calling that level out. He messaged me those levels yesterday on his Sunday evening charting. I like that. So we're gonna shout out Big Kyle for that, as we shout out the Katina man today for that 440 call out on NVDA, baby, because that was, I think, numero uno in profit world today on said floor. So we'll keep an eye on both those trades there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Nvidia did. I know I've been waxing poetic about that 948.50, and I didn't take it. And I think this is the biggest thing for me with Nvidia. I've been slowly but surely getting to know Nvidia over the last week. You know, we've had a slow courtship. You know, took it to the movies, went on a coffee date, walks on the beach. And then today, unfortunately, our relationship took a little bit of a turn to the downside because I wasn't respecting the levels I really liked. All these trades, okay, this trade, this was the levels I liked at 943.50, but this was kind of more of an ant trade. I like the short. I shouldn't have flipped to the long. That was a mistake. And here, this is the one level I really loved at Nvidia, the 948.50, and I'm not taking it. So I'm going to castigate myself for that a little bit, just a skosh of self-flagellation, being like, Adara, why are you just wasting all your energy on trades that are so-so and not on the trades that you really love on these levels? So I wanted to just mention that because it's all about learning. But you know what else? I took my AMD short and Pleases Punch, took some profit on that. I wanted into 70s. I basically wanted to the area we got now, but I didn't like initially. We got near 70s and we bounced right back up. I said, Adara, I don't like this. We came back to my level of entry. I ended up getting out at 78. I intentionally took a few more shares on this because I wanted it to be more of a scalp move, and it was, so Pleases Punch. Then I tangled back in ye old dead one over here, and that's going to be Apple. I like this area. This 50s area was one that I was using, I mentioned earlier as well, for kind of a play for my short. So initially the plan with that short was if we broke above 50s, I was going to say buy. That first short here, not the second one was a mess, but the first short, that was the planned one, the one that I was really enjoying. But yeah, so for Apple, of course, dream profit taking area here, going to be 80s. Come on, it's a great flat top. I don't know, why not, right? But if we don't get that, and I think we might be rejecting below this 90 EMA, so I'm not sure if we will, I'm okay with 60s because that was that previous little baby top. So I do like that look. I can't wait to see what Sean and Obi are trading on the big desk. We're going to find out about that in about 20 minutes. I can't believe this midday show is already coming here to an end. But yeah, Apple, if we break below 40s decisively, I'm out. I'm using my previous levels on Apple for this one because they're holding up pretty decently. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Big Rob, the thing is, I think intuition is not something you get overnight, right? I think you need to work on building it. And mine is not perfect. I've been really honest about that, and I think the thing is, you don't realize how it is until you try it, right? And I will say there were a couple times I was really proud of myself, once on Nvidia and once on Tesla, where I saw something I didn't like in the book and immediately got out, and it was able to work out okay. And that was the case for one of these trades earlier. I said, Adara, I think you were kind of looking at this area, but I think it's going to drop earlier. I got out, and the second I got out, it ended up dropping. So I think sometimes, you're not going to have perfect intuition on every trade or in every chart, but I think everything's a learning process. You got to take it one day at a time. Shout out to that very old Enrique Iglesias song and also the very old show. But I don't think things happen overnight. So I just wanted to address that. Also, yeah, Rivian Millionaire, you're right. Apple today is alive. Apple today is kind of mildly bull flaggish actually here too. We had that nice move up. Then we kind of had that nice little VWAP bounce, pop up. Now having, as Sharif very astutely pointed out in this one, a bit of a roundy bottom. So nice look. Apple smiling right now at the bulls, myself included, hopefully, we'll find out. Yes, we're breaking into 60s. This is my first area I liked. We're going to take out 2/3 of the position at 65s, then save my piece for my dream at 80s. I don't know if we'll get there, but if we do, I'm going to be happy. Let's see what's happening here at Hood. This is interesting. I like Killer Cam saying, I almost think selling intuition is harder to develop than buying. That's a good point, because you don't.
Good point.
And that's the one thing I'm really trying to work on, and that's why I've been trying to work on reading the book, is because if I get in, oh, it's going so well, and I see something I don't like, I should be selling. And I think intuition has been really huge. That's something I want to work on. So thank you, Killer Cam, for bringing that up. That's one thing I've noticed as well. Yeah, I don't know. Robinhood kind of continuing to the downside here. Netflix, some people mentioning as well, Huang family saying Netflix is the big one up today. Oh, yeah, that's a great look. This bounce here, 637. That's amazing. It's a great look. Having a little bit of trouble getting above that 639 area, but if it keeps bouncing off that 90 MA, NFLX could be on my watch list. Pun very intended. Wedbush issued a positive note on them, saying that they're not positioned for high margin revenue growth. Yeah.
All right, guys, do not forget that we have a new segment today. Starts at 2 o'clock, goes from 2 to 2:20. Essentially, we're putting it in your hands, what we talk about on that afternoon rundown. We used to talk about everything that was moving in the morning, why things were moving, the reasons behind it, the catalysts, this, that, and the other. Now we're going to talk strictly technical. So they're going to be charts and trades that you guys have seen throughout the day, that the Katina man has traded, Neil, Obi, Dara, and I, whatever, that we've traded or you've traded, and you want to talk about it. So this is how you're going to do it, guys. Just one sec. You're going to use the following entry in the Streamlabs RAM. So you're going to type in join, exclamation point, exclamation mark, then the word join, and then space, and then the $sign followed by the ticker that you want. So exactly like that. There's a space in between here, guys. So join, and then $sign, whatever ticker you want. Make sure to get that in there. If you don't get it in there, your voice will not be heard, and we're not going to know that you want to talk about it, and somebody else is going to have their voice heard there. So yeah, get that in there. Let me know exactly what's up. Yeah, we're printing here on Google, and I'm really annoyed with this Meta trade because I had the right idea with Meta. I got stopped out as it did move back up. We're printing here decently on Google on this trade, so we'll let this one go, let it go up. This idea here on Google was just a 200 period hold on the 5. There was nothing more to it than that, nothing less than that. We held up initially at that level. I said, okay, let's do it again. We held up previously too, right at the open at the 200 period, even though I was more inclined to think that we were holding up off the Friday close because that white horizontal line is the Friday close. Anyway, decent move here on Google, almost 20 pennies in the money on this trade here as the future does catch a bit of a bid. This is the future over here, a bit of a hammer candle coming in on said future as it comes back in to that 50 penny area goggles, getting a nice little bounce on this area. Now, I'm not going to try to overstay my welcome on Google. I know full well that it's been a downtrend today on goggles. And the reason I don't want to overstay my welcome is because I don't think that there's anything necessarily to change said trend. So what I'll be doing is looking to wet my beak here at one of these moving averages. I think we're probably going to make it up to the 20, so I'll probably get something out 176.80-ish, maybe 75-ish, something like that on GOOGL. But I'm really upset about this Meta trade, man. I had, oh, geez Louise. Let's go to this Meta trade over here. Get stopped out for the remaining amount as it moves right back up. What was that? Like almost 20 pennies higher than my area. Sorry, go ahead. 20 pennies higher than my entry on Meta there. Yeah, several bottoming tail candles coming in on the 5-minute chart too. This is what really upsets me. But there's nothing you can do about these bottoming tail candles, right? Because you have the level, and then it's a specialist breakdown, right? They're stop hunting, and that's the whole idea here, looking to push you out. And sometimes you get the better of them, sometimes they get the better of you. This time they got the better of me because, well, I'm no longer in the trade, and it's like 30 pennies above my entry. So gonna put but goggles is doing very well. Very happy with this trade here. So we're gonna wet our beak as we said we would at that 75 penny area. So a nice 25 penny winner here on Google, but it's that missed Meta trade that's festering in my subconscious. And that's funny how that works, eh?
Yeah, I agree.
You lament more on the bad trades or the missed trades more than you celebrate the good ones. And I guess that's maybe a lesson in human psychology. In any event, so profitable trade on Google, not so profitable on Meta.
Yeah.
I actually literally forgot the name. That was not.
Yeah, I thought you were waiting for me, and I was. No. But yeah, Meta. Don't let Meta get the better of you, because you had that great Google trade.
Oh, thank you.
Shout out to you. Congrats on that. Apple continuing to make people go, huh? and raise eyebrows. I took a long, I'm really proud of this, and shout out to Big Rob for saying, you just have to build intuition. And so that was something I did here on Apple. Like I said, dream profit target was going to be 190, 180. I knew that was kind of, a shot in the dark, a castle in the clouds, whatever. I don't know. So 60s was going to be the second area I liked, right? So I'm like, you know what? Let's get out at 60s. We struggled earlier. I just got out at 60s. Then I'm like, Adara, if you want to get out at 60s, why not take it short? Perhaps my chance. So that's what I want. I don't think I'll get it. I don't think I'll get involved. And not by my own volition. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get filled here. But like Apple, if you want that 190, 159s, I would be pleased as punch to join you in your journey to the downside. The Qs are doing something very funky, and that is just shopping and churning. I have the TQs up here. Look at the way we're bouncing off VWAP, but you know what? I like this short here. We had the topping tail candle. I'll get out if we break above 15s, but I do think this could be a spicy trade. I want to be getting out here into VWAP, starting around 64s and saving a piece for the dream at VWAP. I took enough shares that I think this trade could be worth my while. I don't know if we'll get involved in Apple, but I really want to be taking shorts, and I want to be taking some of these opportunities to get involved in things. And I also hope everybody's taking the opportunity to get involved in our new segment with my pal Sharif.
We've got a plethora, Adara, of votes, and we'd like more because we want to hear from everybody, and chances are if you like that particular name, there's going to be others as well. So have your say and make sure to vote. It's super simple, guys. I'm going to say it one more time here. I know for those who already have done it, I'm sorry for belaboring it, but it is a new thing, Ram. If we can show the screen, it's going to be exclamation point, the word join, and then a space, and then the $ followed by the ticker. So like the way you would enter it on Twitter, enter it like that. And then have your say about which one we're going to talk about today. Brand new segment for you guys. Very excited. And now I'm going to go on my rant.
Okay. Also, 150 is the cutoff for the vote. That's what Ramin was saying. So they have one more minute to vote.
You have 1 more minute for the vote. So 30 seconds, the Knob says. So get on to that. Now, as you guys start voting, let me tell you about this. Obviously, yesterday the Premier League ended, and Man City won, and Arsenal is in second place again for the second year in a row. This time, a lot closer. 2 points this time. We're going to come for you, Pep. We're going to come for you. Don't worry. So, yes, we do go trophyless, and that is definitely what you could call a fruitless season, but I think we made a lot of inways with fans internationally as well, just owing by the amount of people that they have new on their Instagram account. So I'm very excited for what comes for Arsenal next season. I think we'll probably be spending a lot of money in the summer, so I'm super amped up about that. But shout out to Man City. You guys did it. You guys are the winners, and you guys have shown your championship pedigree again because you keep doing it when it counts, man. In the stretch, down the stretch, I mean, you guys are dominating. So shout out to you. Now, second piece of business. We now have an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world for the first time in 24 years in boxing.
Really?
Yes.
Who is it?
One hell of a fight between Yusuchek and Fury on the weekend. It was in Saudi Arabia. And it was the first time that they held such a big event there, man. Wow, that's all I can say. A hell of a fight, and those two lads came to fight two different styles completely. One is like more of a conventional style. You know, he's a southpaw, obviously, but he's more of a puncher than a boxer. The other guy is an absolute boxer. He knows how to fight out of the shell and roll punches. Even though he's a giant, he fights like he's 150 pounds. It was one of my favorite heavyweight fights in the last, I don't know, 15 years. I know that there wasn't the knockouts like of Deontay Wilder, but let's be real about it. Deontay Wilder is, he's unpolished. He's unpolished. He's a great athlete, but he's unpolished as a boxer. So I was super excited to watch boxing at that kind of level. Yusuchek, man, what a champ. He's one of my favorite. Did you watch that, Patty? You saw the highlights. BPI saw everything, baby. So shout out. Yeah, John, great dang fight. Absolutely. What blue wall? I don't get the blue wall. But yeah. I don't really understand some of these things. So what's your look over there? Oh,
I'm
I see
happy
triangles.
you enjoyed the fights,
good.
and I'm sorry that Arsenal lost. But as I was telling Sharif to make him feel better, I do my crosswords all the time, and Arsenal was actually an answer in one of the crosswords this weekend. And I was like, I know Sharif would be very disappointed if I got this wrong. But Man City wasn't, so I said take that consolation prize that the Washington Post is thinking about Arsenal more than it's thinking about Man City, apparently, because Arsenal was an answer for that. Crossword.
Oh, it was the Washington Post.
Yeah.
I get it. Nah, yeah. I didn't get it. Nah, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I love this super chat from the Casey Bear.
I like that. Just Big Kyle, the spy, puts cashed out $1.99 super chat from the Fugazi Bear. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you very much for that beautiful super chat. And thank you for very kind. Yeah. So that's the look here, guys. Again, I'm going to mention it one more time. Actually, we can't mention it anymore because now the time is up. So you had until about 1:50 to vote for your favorite ticker. Again, I'm going to tell you about it, but you can vote tomorrow. New segment from 2 to 2:20. We're covering what you guys want. You're going to have your say between 1 to 150. You vote for the ticker that you want covered. We're going to cover 4 of them on the big desk there. And so today, the first day of that Ram. Thank you. Keep flipping back.
I like the Ram.
She does that to toy with me.
I like that. You just hear that voice. Shout out to Ramin. Shout out to Fabian. Shout out to everyone here. I'm always so happy to be here. I know I'm always like acting like I'm accepting an Oscar speech, but I do think this is one of the most fun communities, and I'm just always so happy to be here. And the GQQs are like, oh, well, we weren't happy to have you because the second you left that short, we decided we were going to go farther to the downside. But no, it's all good. I scalped this out. Initially got half out the bottom of the range. Then I realized we weren't necessarily going to go as low as I wanted us to, so I just cut it loose, cut the cord, got out. But I'm happy with it. And I mean, same with what I did here with Apple. Of course, we did fall lower, but I noticed we were kind of topping and turning around that 90 MA, and I didn't really love what I did. So I said, Adara, take 5 pennies, get out. That's what I did. And I'm really proud of myself. I know these are really small scalps, but I was a little disappointed in myself after the Nvidia situation. And you know what? I will say it's not about, and this is like, you know, an old cliche, but I think there's some accuracy to it. It's not about how you fall, it's about how you get back up.
Bang.
It's not about the bad things that happen. It's like, how did you come back? How did you tackle it? How did you John Wick it? How did you get your revenge? How did you recover from that moment? And so I think that shows a little bit more about your character. Am I still down on the day? Yeah. Is it a great way to start the week? No. But you know what that means is it means I'm just going to come back tomorrow with more viciousness. I'm always very eager to prove myself to these markets, not that they care because they're going to do what they want anyway. But I think it's really, trading is such a mental game. And so that's why I don't want to let it get me down too severely. As Cindy Lauper says, don't be discouraged. Let your true colors shine through. I didn't sing that, but you know that's what we want. Hopefully the true colors are going to be in the right direction. You got the purple triangle at the top, the blue triangle at the bottom, that type of thing. But you know, we're going to have to wait and see what we do tomorrow. I can't believe there's only 5 minutes left.
Yeah, do not forget, interesting earnings after the bell today. We have PanW, big name in the cybersecurity name, if not the biggest. So be on the lookout for that. We'll also have Zoom, a Kathy Wood favorite. So we'll have to keep an eye to see how they did. Make sure to catch the market recap show with Adara and Sean at 4 to 4:30. And then we'll have to wait and see if Kathy's buying the dip tomorrow. Right? That's obviously insinuating they're going to miss. We'll have to wait and see. No, I'm not talking badly about that platform. Not that I use it all that much. You know what I do use all the time? All the time. Especially for the new lease and all the new stuff that we're building out, DocuSign. Everything I'm signing is digital. I have almost signed nothing in person anymore. Yeah, because it's so easy to be able to retrace, right? You've got the document there. You can send it to anybody. Everybody's got a version of it, right? So DocuSign I've been using a hell of a lot, but not Zoom. Anyway, technicals. Let's talk about this.
3 minutes left also. Until.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so the way it is Adara's going to close it out. So I'm going to send it to you.
Sorry for that very high-pitched squeal. I was very shocked. So thank you so much. And I cannot wait to see Sharif on the big screen for the first time. He's going to kill it. As he says to me, hope you print. And I mean that metaphorically with how he's definitely going to do a great job there on that green screen. So definitely, guys, give him your support. And if you want to see your ticker that you like tomorrow, whatever ticker that may be, depending on what's moving tomorrow, remember that from 1 to 150, you can vote. You can actually vote. So that's a really great look that you can do. Yeah, I think that could be a really nice look. There's definitely something to keep an eye on. Right now, in terms of heading to the end of the day, things I'm looking at, I'm still looking at Nvidia. I wanted that 948.50 rejection. If we had that, while I was looking here, I would have taken that into the close or the close of this show, but it didn't happen, so it's all good. Google, what are you doing though? Let me take a look. Oh, Google. Okay, yeah, I want this. I want to take this. I want to go 160, 76, 69. I want to take a pretty small position. If we break above 80s, I'll get out, risking 10 pennies. I do want, though, this break below 50s. I think that could be a nice look. And, as much as this might be like, hey, Adara, that's kind of a speedy trade for you to get into, I mean, I like it. Like, look at this. Look at this pre-market level, right? Look at that. We had that little base here earlier. Then we had this nice rejection around the 90 EMA. Shout out to Sharif as well for killing this goggles long, this goggles trade earlier. Right now, though, I do like this short at these levels heading into the end of the show. And again, it might seem a little bit impulsive, but it's like sometimes if you see levels you like, you want to get involved. I will admit, though, one thing I want to focus on is trading less names. My blotter is way too stacked in recent days, and so you want to kind of deal with that. You want to definitely take less trades, and that's not something that I've been doing. But if we break above 80s, I'll get out. What do people want to look? I'll just get out here, actually, so I can focus. What do people want to look at here as we head into the rest of the show? Are there any tickers that you want to look at before we end the day and before we see Sharif's green screen awesomeness? Also got out of Google and then it decides to drop. All good here. But let's see what else people want to take a look at as we head into the end of the day here, or not the end of the day, but to the end of this show. Let's take a look at Zoom actually heading into those earnings. Zoom in on some levels that might be interesting. When Sean and I hit the market, Zoom was such a range and I missed it. Oh, look at Zoom. Look at this. Look at this little pre-market, or not pre-market, this is actually right after the open. This area here around 64, 64 top, 64 top, 64 top, up. Bottom around 63, 65, 63, 65, 63, 65. So I think, yeah, Zoom was quite the range. I did miss it. I think also Confluence, the top of this range, being around VWAP, this is a great look. Zoom, I'm actually going to put on my side chart today prematurely, because I think that could be a spicy play for tomorrow. Spread not bad, about 2 pennies. That's something I can live with. Boyle. Jay Lee wants to look at Boyle here, but also, only about 25 seconds left here. Not 25, about 30 seconds left heading into the day. Let's see if we can get some steam going in Boyle. It's a great look. I know you said long term, but I mean just quickly here as we head into the end of the show. Not 1, not 2, but 3 bounces here off the 9 EMA, not the 9 EMA, sorry, VWAP. I think this is a great look. Higher highs after a pseudo flat top around that 2060. That is a really great look, but you know what the greatest look is going to be is Sharif having his awesome show and tell there on the green screen. I cannot wait to see this brand new segment. I hope you guys give it some love. Let us know what you feel, because we're always looking for feedback. Thank you so much to Bears vs. Bulls for your support. Always killing it. But right now, I'm going to have to say adieu, because we're going to see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Brendan's at the big desk and Sharif's at the big screen, guys.
What's up, guys? Welcome to our brand new segment. This is how it's going to be from now on. You guys are going to get to choose exactly what we talk about from 2 to 2.